And it looks like we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome welcome all back to another episode of the Political Zoo. I'm your host, Drew, and tonight I am joined again by the wonderful Sage Elias. Thank you for coming by, my man.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Everybody can hear me perfectly fine. I'm not far away, right?
No, you sound fine. You're all set. I can hear you loud and clear. The date is December 4th, 2021. And this week, we've been seeing more developments of the Omicron variant of COVID-19. We're seeing some tensions heat up between old rivals, US and Russia, as well as a very strange weather warning indeed coming for the island of Hawaii. Elias, how you doing tonight, my man?
My brother, I'm doing good. Can we first, silly side note? Who the fuck names these little variants? Like, I didn't even know Omegatron. What the hell that name is called? Like, I didn't even know that was an
Omicron.
option.
It
Yeah,
is it's a Greek letter. It's the O of the Greek alphabet.
I'm so over these crazy ass names. And
I said it last week. They skipped over Chi, which is an X, because if they did that and then still came out with an Omicron variant, it would have been Delta, which is a triangle, Chi, which is an X, and Omicron, which is an O. It would have been the Squid Game invite business card if they kept Chi. So they had to cut it out.
Oh yeah, they're smart as fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as soon as someone said they skipped over Chi, I went, oh, it's probably because of the Squid Game thing.
Bendito. Oh man, yeah, I'm doing good though, man. I'm doing good. We are in the, I got, like I said, I got a new computer, so it's nice and ramped. Nice. It's very, very, very pretty, and I'm glad I'm doing the Political Zoo on it.
Thanks, man.
If you break my computer, I'm blaming you, Drew. So.
Yeah, dude, it's all me. I'm sending you ransomware and malware and all that.
I believe stuff. It. Yeah, if that's even possible. But I am very I was very surprised when I heard that Russia and the United States are kind of beefing, and I'm not really sure on what they're beefing about. Like, because from what I heard, it sounded kind of stupid. So I'm like, maybe it's not that. So
what's going on right now is that Russia is lining up troops at the Ukrainian-Russia border.
Okay.
And U.S. intelligence has confirmed that Russia is planning on something looking like an invasion of the Ukraine. So President Biden and President Putin are going to have a video call on Tuesday to talk about what they're doing. But yes, the U.S. intelligence has confirmed that Russia is planning an offensive toward the Ukraine to, take it over, annex it, do what they got to do. Russia's trying to get some land back in the chaos of the Biden administration. So,
okay, so why do, and I'm this may be a stupid question I asked today, but why does America care?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, whenever a country is making a grab for any certain type of land, that means they're doing it for some kind of reason. They're not just doing it because they want just more land. You know what I mean? They just want it for whatever reason. If Russia were to take say Russia runs into Ukraine and completely takes the country over. Wait, was it Ukraine, right? Yeah, it was Ukraine. Before I don't know why I was thinking Belarus, because I'm looking at it on the map right now. It would give them access to the Black Sea more than what they'd have with Crimea, as well as direct contact with Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, and Moldova, making it so that way if they were trying to build some kind of country empire, it would be the first step. And I get what you're saying. Like, why does the U.S. care? Well, last time we had a guy who was just building countries into an empire. He had a funny mustache and put a lot of people on trains. So it's one of those.
Put even more in showers, but I get that. I get that. Cool, right? And I don't understand why we're having a video conference, but I guess because of COVID, right? But
yes, with the Omicron variant, they don't want to, or at least I feel like that's more of a Biden thing. I don't feel like Putin really cares.
I haven't seen Putin wear a mask once.
I think just for probably to be able to go to a world leader advance thing,
like
a summit or something.
I feel like Putin wouldn't mind. Like, yo, we could talk in person. Like, I feel like, I don't know, bro. Like, this seems like Joe Biden stuff. Like, he didn't want to do the inauguration with people because he was worried about his life. And he was the most threatened president of all time, apparently.
But yet the most popular president of all time, too.
Yeah, more than the black guy. More than the first black guy. It's cool. It's all right. Yep. Whatever. But, I feel like this is just like Biden moves. Like, we got to do it cyberly. Why? Why not show up at a meeting ground? Fuck all this. I don't get it. See, is he afraid that CNN's going to be like, Biden is meeting with Putin in the middle of a pandemic? Like, is that a thing?
I think a real reason that I would think of why he would want to do it cyber, so that way he could be in a corner with a crew and they'd be able to help him out live as it's going on. Because this guy is a frail, geriatric, barely able to form his own sentences, visited the Pope and shit himself, old guy, right? If he has to go to a place where he sits at a table with Putin and it's just them one-on-one, he's going to get crumbled because he is not physically up to it. In my opinion, not mentally up to it either. When it's virtual, he can have an entire team behind the camera to be able to help him out. He's going to be able to have cue cards. He's going to be able to have a support network of people doing very quick fact checks. You can have a literal public speaking coach right off to the side as long as they're not on camera. He can get a full support team to be able to give the best response he can, because in person, he probably wouldn't be able to give any kind of threatening remark to President Putin of Russia that, hey, don't take over the Ukraine or we're going to have problems.
I really feel like, honestly, for the next 4 and hopefully not 8 years, this is probably this is the only time that I've ever been really worried. Like, damn, bro, America might honestly fall, really bad.
It honestly, I feel like a lot could be riding on this, because if Biden fails this, even with an entire support network or something goes wrong on their end, I feel like at that point, people will then realize the United States is weak now, in a state of weak leadership, so they can kind of do whatever they want. And Biden's never going to meet with someone in person. I can definitely see this happening where Biden would show up. He looks weak because Putin knows how to, because Putin's also going to have his own support network. You think Putin's going to you think Putin's not going to play with an advantage like Biden is? Putin's going to have his own support network of people to help them out. I feel like if Biden doesn't look strong here and fails, other countries that are adversarial to the United States will just kind of do whatever they want. And at any point, if the U.S. gives a statement, their first thing they're going to say is, oh, yeah, come say that to my face, President Biden. Let's have a physical meeting right here, right now. And if he does, he risks looking even worse. Or, you know what I mean? I feel like that's going to be the big consensus point, is if this doesn't go well, which I can't see it going well, I'm not intimidated by Joe Biden. I'm sorry. I was intimidated by Trump. I feel like Trump would blow my house up if I said something, if I took over a portion of my front yard. You know what I mean? Trump could definitely do strict negotiations. Remember when Kim Jong-un was making threats?
Yeah.
And Trump told him he will rain fire and fury on him, the like of which the earth has never seen.
If you just release one, he said, if you release one nuke, just one, I would say he said all that. I was like, damn, that was a flex, bro. That was like a little anime flex. Yeah, bro. Like I felt that. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, you know, like I don't, and I guess I don't know because I don't really know. I didn't really grow up with Bush. I'm trying to remember another president that was around when I was alive, like Clinton, I guess maybe.
Yeah, Clinton was right before Bush, so
Yeah,
probably
like I
him.
wasn't really around those people. Like, and then I got up to the last year of Obama's last tour, and then I sipped the Kool-Aid. So then I really only had Obama, Trump, and now Biden as like people to look at. And it's like right now, honestly, it's like, damn, bro, Republicans know how to talk their shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they know, at least they know how to keep us safe. Like, I guess Democrats know how to fix the economy, but that's never been proven. But
So, to the credit of the Clinton administration, the first time we were in a surplus for hundreds of years was under the Clinton administration. So I will give them that, where they know how to, like, at least some of them know how to manage the internal budgets.
Oh yeah, but you see, I didn't know
as
that because I didn't grow up with them. So
yeah, I wouldn't know that unless I saw the chart. You know what I mean? Because I was born during the Clinton era, but my first ever like political experience was in middle school when I was in 6th grade when Barack Obama was elected, and we followed the election live and did like, you know, that was like the first time I ever actually paid attention to anything political, because before then it was just cartoons and Power Ranger action figures. Don't get me wrong, I'm still all about cartoons and Power Ranger action figures, but now I do political shows online. Yeah, so that was really it. So I remember seeing that too. People do this all the time. They'll say like, "Oh, well, you know, claim." I remember when Trump lost this past election and people were calling for, you know, voter fraud or like this needs to be changed or whatever, and people saying, "Oh, you didn't sound like this back when Al Gore lost the election." And I'm sitting here like I was like that was 2000 and is it 2004, 2001? I think that was 04, right?
Bro, I don't even know. Like, I really don't even know what Al Gore looks like a human being. The only Al Gore I know him as is when he was in the Proud Family and he fought with a penny, and like he made it rain hail. That's the only Al Gore I know.
That's so funny.
Like, I don't know this dude. He's way before
Al Gore's
my time.
fresh in my mind only because I just watched an episode of Futurama earlier today with him, which was funny. Yeah, so it was the 04 election. So in the 04 election, Florida was kind of like, it looked like it should have swung Democrat, but it ended up being Republican. Al Gore won the presidential race, and then 100 days later, they figured out after recounting votes that actually George Bush won the election, which is what a lot of people thought was going to happen for Trump in this. So with that, and people will say like, "Oh, you didn't. I bet you weren't, you know, saying, oh, we need voter reform when Al Gore lost the election because of that. Like, you just support your party." I'm like, 2004, I was 7. Like, I didn't have any concept of our electoral system, man.
I didn't even know what voter reform. I couldn't even probably say voter reform confidently without laughing. Like,
oh, absolutely. 2007, I was playing Kingdom Hearts 2 for the first time. Like, that's not. I wasn't in any headspace for politics at that. So I just know what I see now and what it's based off of now.
It's like, bro, like, and it's like, cool. Like, if that's the case, right? Let's say, because, you know, history does repeat itself. You know, we're not dumb to say that it doesn't. So yeah, let's say if maybe that happened back then in the Al Gore situation, why didn't y'all stand up? You know, why wasn't January 6th back in 2004? Back when it probably would have been okay. Back then,
yeah, true. It would have been a Democrat thing.
It would have been a Democrat. It would have been a protest. It would have been the greatest thing in the world. 106 & Park would have showed up. It would have been wild, bro. G Unit would have been there. I'm pretty sure they were big around the time. Like, bro, why didn't y'all do that then? But now it's our fault though, because we didn't fight for y'all when we were 7. You see how dumb that sounds? It's like, bro, why are we not just trying to fix this now? Like, let's just don't talk about Al Gore, the dude that I literally never heard about after the Proud Family, and let's just focus on what's happening now.
So it was the 2000 election, not the 2004 election. 2004 election was with John Kerry.
Oh.
But yeah, no, I don't like what even happened to Al Gore? What did he do? Did he have like a reunion tour at some point?
Isn't he the guy that did climate change? Like he's the climate change.
Oh no, he was he was super big into climate change. He was one of the pioneers of climate change, honestly.
Yeah, he was the climate change guy. He was one of the guys that said that in 2010, he said by 2010 Florida will be underwater along with California. And
that's right.
I'm here in Florida, not underwater. I would like to literally say that he was full of shit. And I think he's saying shit now, like in the next 10 years, some shit's gonna happen. And I'm like, bro, cut it out, bro. Cut it the fuck out. I'm done with you.
Having these insane accusations with insanely close deadlines is something that's overall hurting the climate change narrative and movement. Now I'm all about preserving our planet, and I'm all about making sure that we can live on the earth we were given. But when you say shit like in 10 years we're going to be underwater, and then 10 years later they're like, no, another 10 years we'll be underwater. When you say that makes people go, okay, climate change isn't real because we would have been underwater by now, which obviously isn't true, because of you've seen the weather prediction over in Hawaii.
No, what?
They are getting a blizzard warning.
Oh yeah,
in Hawaii.
Oh man,
Hawaii is getting a blizzard warning. With it's funny, the only two states receiving any kind of blizzard warning this weekend are Alaska and Hawaii, the two non-continental United States. They're projected to get yeah, I know, right? They are projected to get wind gusts of up to 100 miles per hour.
Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
Yes, with a foot of snow.
In Hawaii?
In Hawaii.
100 miles per hour winds, bro?
Yes.
Isn't that like hurricane winds? Isn't that like hurricane blizzard?
It's essentially a tropical storm, but with some snow added in.
Bro, that's literally fucking them up, bro. Like, how is Hawaii? Like, can we talk about how Hawaii could extinct, like the island itself?
I mean, I think it should be fine. They have plenty of land. I don't think this is going to cause that big of an issue, but I do think that it's going to cause some flooding, because a lot of the snow probably isn't going to hit the ground, considering the snow is hitting the warm state of Hawaii, going onto the beaches, the tropical location. By the time the snow is going to get to a point in the atmosphere, it's probably going to melt. So they're probably looking at a solid foot of rain. So there's going to be some decent flooding. There's going to be some issues involving water runoff. There's going to be, the tides are going to rise a little bit higher than the levees can handle.
Trees are going to be ripped easy.
Oh yeah, we're going to see some we're going to see some palm trees flying around.
I'm thinking palm trees. We have to understand that Hawaii's probably, has they handled 100 miles per hour winds? Like, is that normal for them?
I am not sure. I know that the last time they've been issued a snow warning was over 3 years ago. So this is an extraordinarily rare occurrence for the snow. And the article I'm looking at on CNN is more about the snow than it is about the wind. But I do think that wind could be an issue if cold temperatures run in. Because you know anything about how like the weather works out in the water, the coastal areas are a lot more windy than mainland areas, because the water takes a lot of energy to heat up. So you're going to have a warm air, or in this case, it's going to be cool air hitting warm water, and that's going to stir the air up and make strong winds.
Honestly, I hope everybody in Hawaii is literally safe, man.
Like, me too. Honestly, I hope everyone's safe. I hope everyone gets to a shelter. Make sure that
get out of Hawaii for a while. I think
probably can't travel right now. That Omicron variant, probably gonna have to be a lockdown situation. I think Hawaii one of the confirmed states to have it.
I don't know. Let's
I know that Pennsylvania and Maryland were added to the list.
States that new variants. Omegatron.
Omicron.
Virus.
Omegatron virus, dude. COVID in disguise.
COVID in yo, what is it called? What?
Omicron.
Omicron.
Omicron. So we have 7 cases in California, 1 in New Jersey and Georgia, 1 in Utah, 2 in Colorado, 1 in Missouri.
Damn, Hawaii.
1 in Pennsylvania, 3 in Maryland, 6 Nebraska, 1 in Hawaii, 8 in New York, 1 Minnesota.
All right.
And 1 in Massachusetts. Hawaii. Let's go. We're on the list, baby. We made it. We got the cool shit.
Made it. We made it.
We're on the list. We get the cool stuff.
But does that count as a outbreak? 1?
Well, I mean, they want to keep the contagion level. They just don't want this to be an issue. You know what I mean? So they're going to treat it with extreme prejudice so it doesn't spread as fast as the OG COVID-19. So I could definitely see people saying, hey, I want to catch a flight to California or to somewhere so I can get out of the island. I could see them being denied.
All right. I feel that.
Which stinks, man. It does suck, bro. People are going to get hurt because of that.
New York has
the person in Hawaii who contracted the Omicron variant did recently come back from South Africa. So, you ever play that game Plague Inc?
Yep.
On your phone? Yeah, that plane went up and then you got the little toxic bubble you could click on for extra points. That's what happened over in Hawaii.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the deities, they're downloading these crazy ass bootleg coronavirus apps on the world. And it's just stop, bro. Just I want to go back to being normal.
It's not fun anymore.
Yeah, honestly, right now it sucks. Right now, people in Hawaii, they can't even travel outside their country because their country's on lockdown. So only Red Cross and FEMA and people like that can probably access and get out. But other than that, y'all screwed because of this stupid freaking pandemic that's happening. It's hard times going on right now. Global
absolutely.
Or climate change or global cooling, as what Loki says. Yeah, man. Whatever you call it. I don't think it's real at all. I just think it's just we just don't know how the Earth works. I remember there was a good point for 100 years where we had the Ice Age. I'm pretty sure the Eskimos weren't sitting there going, "Yo, it's because the younger tribe over there is cooling up the coal." I think we think too highly of ourselves and too less of what this world is really functioning of being able to do. The only time we've ever seen the Earth take a dramatic reset when it couldn't handle excess amount of creatures was the dinosaurs. And I think the Earth handled them very well.
To be fair, it wasn't really the Earth that took care of the dinosaurs.
He called the hit, bro. He had to.
It was a little extraterrestrial. It was a little a little different.
It's like I don't even think this is crazy. Is it bizarre that Hawaii is getting a blizzard? I thought it was, but then you said that there's multiple actual articles of Hawaii actually snowing. It's just how much it's snowing, you're saying.
So the last time a blizzard warning was given to Hawaii, it was over 3.5 years ago, according to CNN. 1,347 days ago was the last time. We are seeing an increase in 100-year storms, 500-year storms. Whenever you hear that terminology, someone saying, "Oh, this is a 100-year storm. This is a 1,000-year storm. This is a whatever year storm," that means that typically this storm is the worst that we should see in that time period. You know what I mean?
So it's not global warming or climate change. It's just we're in the time of, it's WrestleMania of hurricanes and storms.
Well, kind of, but with this increase in greenhouse gases and cutting down trees and making it so that way the earth isn't able to regulate its temperatures and natural disasters as well, these 100-year storms are happening a lot more frequent. We're getting 100-year storms once every 10 years. And it's causing more damage. And when people say like, oh, climate change is causing like homelessness and destabilization in other countries, that's because these storms that wouldn't be as powerful or around as much are getting a little more traction, and they're able to wreak more havoc and going places and hurting others.
Okay, so I hear that, but what? So how do we know that it's happening now every 10 years? What if 400 years ago we was getting these crazy ass storms, but we couldn't document it because 400 years ago we didn't have that type of technology?
So it's just based on the previous research that was done in that area, excuse me. So they go through and they say like, hey, typically once every 10 years we get a storm that causes 2 feet of flooding. So when a storm comes in and they're predicting 2 feet of flooding, they're going to say, okay, this is a 100-year storm, causes, every 100 years we get a storm that has 3 feet of flooding. But then when that happens 3 times a decade, you just had 3 100-year storms. And maybe that was common back then. Maybe that was common 400 years ago. Who knows? We're just going off the data we have. We can't time travel and go back and get stats,
So yeah, so like this is why science is very fickety, because like I'm all for the art of science and going out and collecting data and understanding these things, but I feel like we take these datas and then we try to make our own stories. Like, like, hey, a storm has happened every 10 years, or this storm happens. Then we create this algorithm. And because it fits, we think it makes sense. And it's like in science, that's a big thing. Like a lot of like God or whoever your deity is, this dude set up a bunch of traps in this fucking world. Like everything fits, but not everything makes sense. That's why it's like, so like, what if they're saying, oh, this is 1,000 years, this is 100-year storm, 1,000-year storm because of this and because of that, when it's like, no, what if you just are just recording data of what's happening now, and you actually don't even know what the fuck is a 100-year storm, when a 100-year storm is like 80 foot high and it fucking knocks out a country or something, like, it's like, we don't know anything. Like, at least that's what I think. Like,
well, we've been documenting weather in this country since, I want to say, the early 1800s, if not late 1700s, when the United States was first formed. So we have like pretty significant reliable data that goes back a couple hundred years. I know it's not much in the grand scheme of things, but based on previous data recording, it is going up. And it is an issue where Hawaii is getting snow warnings. Now, Hawaii is going to get snow warnings no matter what. I feel like with, we could have perfectly clean air and it would still get snow warnings. Hawaii, I think, has the cleanest air in the world. And they're still getting snow warnings. That's just what it is, We have, there's a lot of factors that go into play. And like climate change can definitely exacerbate certain things and definitely affect certain things. It's not going to whip things up out of thin air, but it will cause some issues.
We've been apparently tracking the atmospheres and temperatures since 1850. So it's been about 200 years, almost 200 years.
Yeah, I'm at 150, closer to
100 and
you said 1850, right? It's like 170 years.
Yeah, 170. Yeah. Because 2050 will be when we collected for 200.
Yeah.
I guess we've been collecting it for a while.
Yeah, it would be more reliable data over in Europe than it would be in America. Because like the Europeans were kind of like the first group of people to start writing things down like in an accessible manner, like the Mediterranean and European. So like when the Europeans came to the Americas, there wasn't like a huge log of weather data. Like that was kind of pioneer. Like that we had to be there to write it, you know. I'm saying we as like modern like Europeans coming in to mix with the indigenous populations. So a lot of data that was like recorded from the weather for the indigenous population was passed down verbally. So like not saying like no one was recording data, but the Europeans were the ones who wrote it down.
Sure.
In like books and volumes instead of like on the sides of caves or in like monuments and dirt rocks and stuff that could be affected by erosion, you know. Like if a big storm's coming that's going to split your rock in half that you wrote the weather data on, it's gone. But if a flood's coming to get the books at the library, you can pick up all the books and run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
I wonder where we'd be if we never lost the Library of Alexandria. You ever think about that? I think about that too much.
You know, I used to when I first heard about it, I think I had that great talk about that like 2017. We was talking about it and I was like, oh my God. And we was talking about like what could be in there, right? Like what if it was open? What would be in there? How advanced would our art, our science, and our philosophy? Because like Rome was such a high philosophical society. And honestly, if we still had that, bro, I really feel like racism wouldn't be a problem.
Really? Is that where you feel like that could be the flashpoint?
I feel like, yeah, for real. Like I feel like superiority will kind of still be there, but it'll be way more weakened as than what it is now. Like it'll be so like back. I don't know. I feel like in Rome, because like Rome did it. Like Rome is the only there. Like Rome has a period of 200 years of straight peace. Like Rome did it. Like, you know, like there's no other. Whatever. Even if people say like, oh, but what do you consider peace? Whatever you want to say. There's Russia never did it. Israel, German, China, Japan. There was no time that it was 200 years of straight peace. Rome had that before everything went crazy. They gotta know things, you know, like they were connected. Like the Romans were so into the Egyptians. The Egyptians are connected into so many crazy, I don't want to say extraterrestrial shit, but you know, woke.
Have you been watching Ancient Aliens lately?
Nah, I haven't. I really don't watch that because I feel like if I watch that, I would never not watch it ever again, and I will put all my friends on it. But I really do I do think like the pyramids and Egyptians and back then they were way ahead in science. They just lacked the materials, or they had the right mind but the wrong time. You know?
Yeah, if they had modern technology, they would have went really far.
Frolic, bro.
If they knew how to harness electricity and how to automate things, it definitely would have been a very interesting civilization.
It's like, and the Romans and the Egyptians, you know, but thanks to Cleopatra and Julius Caesar, they were super close. So they had to have shared knowledge or things every now and then that could have landed in the library of Alexandria. So in that one nook and cranny could be everything, bro. That could be as almost, I wouldn't even say that, but it's literally one of the biggest things in the world that could have changed things. Everything. Hunger, bro. Fucking starvation, probably. War. Well, probably not war, because Romans love to kill. So they probably weren't all about peace. But I do.
What if it was just memes and jokes?
Yeah.
Like that was it. Like that's all we lost. Like Rage comics would have been a thing in the 80s instead of the early 2000s. Like just 20 years of meme culture. Or like recipes for like candy or something that we don't have.
DIY things and like
just like, oh, here's how to make honey candy, Egyptian honey candy. Oh, okay. Yes. I guess we could have.
Oh my God, we know how to make that now.
Dude, Sage is like, oh shit, it's gonna solve racism. It's like it's honey candy. It's like Egyptian honey candy.
You know, like damn, like oh maybe it could be that. But like there's like so many things. Like I think about the Vikings. Like the Vikings, they have like these swords, right? Like the higher ranking Vikings, right? They will have like these swords, and the swords were like 2,000 years old. And until to like not even till right now, are we able to make those swords that those Vikings made over 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, cultures had their secrets, and they were able to figure things out.
And it's like, no, they don't understand. Like blacksmiths now, they're like, there's no way we can make this. Like now with not even with machines or nothing. Like that stuff, like man, like science back then, it must have been fucking amazing, you know? And then we think about Da Vinci. Da Vinci was advanced too. Da Vinci had like a whole book of like crazy ass ideas of machine guns, planes, and all that crazy shit.
I mean, to be fair though, we really don't like sword research is not the top most priority of anybody outside of sword enthusiasts. Yeah. We kind of don't use them in battle anymore, so it's not like we need the super secret Viking technique on how to make swords. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would love to know the super secret Viking technique.
I mean, it'd be cool to know, but like, you know, how many U.S. soldiers are like, yeah, slightly better knife. Like it's not. There's not much practical application. You know, like why are we gonna look into it?
That's true. Damn,
dude.
I would love to learn
so like, speaking of weapons and like and stuff, over in Michigan, what a terrible week over in Oxford, Michigan. Were you following that?
No, please tell me.
Oh, it was a new school shooting over in
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, in Oxford. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, holy shit, in England? No, in Oxford, Michigan. There was a school shooting, and the more information we find out about the family, the more disturbing it gets. It gets kind of freaky. What we know for certain, so they ended up arresting the parents of the school shooter. So the school shooter was a 15-year-old kid who apparently, now that this information is coming out, was repeatedly showing signs that he was going to hurt people in that way. 4 students were killed by him, right? The parents on multiple occasions have received phone calls from the school saying that their child is unstable. He made drawings of him massacring people. He was caught in the school library looking up ammunition for his gun. Now, that's not in itself a crime, but along with him drawing pictures of massacring people, he even said, so he got a gun for, I think it was his birthday or for something, 4 days prior to the shooting. His parents bought him a gun for whatever what reason? His father brought him a gun, which is entirely illegal since the father was clear, but the son was not, and the son had concerns. Now, charges are being filed against the parents for 4 counts of homicide, involuntary manslaughter, because they had every opportunity to stop this from ever happening. And they're like, the parents kind of knew that he was going to do this, as evidenced by a text sent from the mother to her son saying, hey, don't do this, before anything even happened. If she knew that her son was taking a gun or had intent to hurt people in that way and didn't call the police or didn't keep her son home, then I definitely think she's responsible for the deaths of those 4 children over in Oxford.
Can we look up a clip of that? Not a clip of him shooting the 4 people.
I don't think. Yeah, they don't have that.
I don't.
Yeah, they
don't want anybody to think like, yo. What?
Yeah. So the couple actually didn't arrive in court when they were summoned, so that became a whole issue. They were arrested. They are in custody, and there's a bunch of memes going around where, that top thumbnail, that the whole family mugshot, which is just
damn. Everybody, look at those.
Sad. That's look at these, awful. Yeah.
Look at these families of assassins. What
dude, right? Like, I think it's just someone who needed help, and people that were either too incompetent or too prideful to admit that their son needed the help. to not hurt others. And their decision to not get help cost the life of 4 high schoolers.
There's an additional released yet.
A lot of new information coming out today about the teenage suspect and the 2 encounters he had with school leaders the day before and the day of the shooting.
Sadly, earlier today, a 4th victim lost his life. Mara McDonald live tonight.
School leaders, by the way, people, are school staff. That's just a stupid name that they give them to make them feel important.
Outside the Oakland County Jail. Mara,
School
we are learning a
leaders.
lot about these warning signs that seem to lead up to the shooting.
Devin, that's right, including that this suspected shooter's in-classroom behavior had become so alarming, his parents were called down to the school the day of the shooting for a conference with administrators. And investigators are saying, from what they have discovered, this was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. Madison Tate.
So these are the four people? Oh, my God.
Yes. I know that the young man in the varsity jacket in the top left, he jumped on top of him trying to disarm him to save other students' lives. That student chose action in the face of death, and like to him, I commend him.
Yeah. Fucking hero.
Unbelievable. Exactly.
Hannah, and today, Justin, all dead after a 15-year-old student at Oxford High went on a rampage yesterday, with 7 others, including a teacher, wounded.
Sir, do you understand all the charges against you?
Yes, I do.
Ethan Crumbly was charged with 24 counts, including terrorism and first-degree murder in a crime the prosecutor says.
Hey, they gave a white person a crime of terrorism. That's what I'm talking about. About time. Fucking terrorists.
Well, not to put a damper, but in what way was it terrorism?
Okay, so I forget what state that believe, because each state apparently has their different definition of terrorism, but this true definition of what I believe a terrorist is to anyone that causes terror amongst a crowd of people or in a public place.
So that is a very common misconception. That is not the definition of terror or terrorism or a terrorist. And there's no solid definition, but the most solid comes from the FBI, where a terrorist is someone who uses violence or the threat of violence to perpetuate a organization, a religion, a political, or a group's motive, essentially.
Yeah.
So if someone walked into a building and said, I want everyone to be afraid, and started shooting at them, they're not a terrorist because they're spreading terror. Terrorist is someone who walks into a building and says, for the, like, you know, I don't know what, just for the 10 rings, and then blow themselves up. That's a terrorist. A terrorist is not, fear is usually associated with that, so that's why they call them terrorists. But spreading terror is not what a terrorist means. It's using violence to perpetuate some kind of political motive. So that's what makes me like it. To me, that seems like they're just kind of giving him terrorist because that's become the new hot word for the worst person that you can be, kind of a thing. But what motive did he have to get him the title of terrorist? If he was shooting people up under a guise of like, I'm doing this for some ideology or from some organization, I'd 100% agree. But like, let's not mislabel people and give them faulty sentences, because if he doesn't have the political motive and he's not sentenced with terrorism, everyone's going to lose their mind. Everyone's going to be like, oh, look, the white kid got off for terrorism. If a black kid did it, he'd be a terrorist and blah, blah, blah. But there needs to be some kind of motive for terrorism to be an actual charge here.
Nah, yeah, for real. That's 100% true, and I take it back.
No, you're good, dude. I didn't know that until I specifically took a class in college about terrorism. It's something that's so little known and something that the media can spin. It's to a point where, like, I didn't know that until I was like 22, where I would sit there and like, I just thought a terrorist is someone who spreads terror, who makes people afraid of doing something. That's not what a terrorist is. It's an organization kind of a thing. It's politically motivated violence. So like, resume the clip, see if we can get a motive from him.
Oh, so wait, you don't know why he did it either?
No, no.
No
Oh,
spur
crap.
of the moment decision.
Judge, a preliminary review of the defendant's social media accounts, his cell phone, as well as other document evidence recovered on scene, showed that this defendant planned the shooting. He deliberately brought the handgun that day with the intent to murder as many students as he could.
The accused shooter's behavior had raised red flags before yesterday.
We have since learned that the schools did have contact with the student the day before and the day of the shooting.
Yesterday, before the shooting, that 15-year-old's parents were brought to school for a face-to-face meeting with school administrators over his classroom behavior. Just under 3 hours later, school cameras recorded him.
And what's depicted on that video, honestly, Judge, I don't have the words to describe how horrific that was.
The accused shooter seen coming out of a bathroom and firing, aiming for students' heads with a gun his father bought last Friday. His parents, who briefly appeared during his arraignment, are also facing potential charges.
With the right of owning a gun comes responsibility. And the responsibility of a gun owner is to securely store that weapon and to keep it out of the hands of somebody who could kill people. And in this case, that does not seem to have happened.
Prosecutor McDonald says she's limited with what she can share at this point, but did say this late tonight.
There's an additional piece of evidence that hasn't been released yet, but I can assure you it was troubling, it was disturbing, and unfortunately, he was allowed to go back to class.
What?
I believe it was the drawing that I mentioned a little earlier.
An adult in this case, he
Oh.
has since been moved here to the Oakland County Jail. The judge said no bond, and his attorney entered a not guilty plea for him. We are at the Oakland
Really?
County tonight. I'm Mara McDonald.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. They're gonna plead insanity.
How are they going to get a not guilty plea? Like he's on camera.
They're gonna plead insanity, bro. I swear to God, they're gonna plead insanity. They're gonna plead insanity. They're gonna say that either he had to be bullied, all right? That's Oxford shooter motive. Listen, don't watch all this. Look, this is a big thing of my brain, all right? My brain is all these things. Anime, right? Okay. Former FBI agent Andy Arena shares insight on Oxford hiding. How long is this? 5 minutes? You want to watch this?
We can watch it and have some commentary to it, as long as we're not causing dead air.
No, yeah, 100%. Can I skip this? No, I don't want to. Oh, yeah. First things first, shout out to Adidas. Ex Machina. All right.
Sponsor us, Adidas.
Sponsor us, please. Stripes over
Please.
the checks.
Yeah, this is something that's absolutely absurd, and the parents are now on the focal point because we have the kid. He's in jail. Like the trial's coming. They're going to take care of him. The parents are undergoing a couple of shady things with those texts that I mentioned earlier. There was a text from the mom saying, if you're going to do something, don't get caught, or something like to that effect. Whether or not she knew the full extent of what he was planning to do is unknown. And I feel like once we go to trial, we will have a much better understanding of what's going on. So come back next December and we'll figure it out, because these things take around a year.
Yep. I also feel like we will get more like I want to know like I want to know why he shot 2 girls, to be honest. Like
I think he just shot wildly, because I mean it was, I don't know. You never it could be people he had problems with
see that would kind of hurt his case too, because it would have to be like that those girls had to be bullying you.
Well, see, but that could also be actually kind of beneficial to his case if he was saying that these people were harming me and I just said enough is enough kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why he has to be pleading not guilty.
Yeah, that probably is what it is.
Either that,
they probably
or he's
plead.
Insane.
Yeah. Which, for the record, an insane plea is not a cakewalk. It is not. Oh, you have optional counseling every couple of weeks. No, you are institutionalized for probably the same amount of time. So either way, he is never going to walk away a free man.
Nope.
Either way, if he pleads insanity and gets insanity, he is probably going to be institutionalized to a point where he's never going to be let out, at least not on a leash. So it's rest assured that, insanity does not mean get out of jail free. Insanity just means it's going to be more supervised kind of a thing.
I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna sound pretty fucked up, but you know what we should do with all these crazy ass school shooters? We should put them in the military.
What?
Like, just put them in the military. Like,
you just put them in the suicide squad?
No, not even that. Like, not even. I mean, let them serve their time in prison, 100%. But like, when they're done, put them in the military. You want to shoot? I bet. Go shoot over there. I get them. Like, I don't know. That's what I would do. I'll put like, yo, you obviously trigger happy. You're obviously angry and crazy, and you obviously don't know what this gun life is. So let me put you in the middle of a third world country where all you have is that gun and a rock and probably your feet to fucking survive. And then you come back and you probably wouldn't want to shoot another kid ever again. Because that's everybody that I know that has ever killed anybody overseas. They don't even kill mice in their house. Like, they let them go free. That's how much they value life. So why not do that? And I don't think that's pretty extreme. I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that's anything. Because at the same time, you serving one life sentence doesn't serve anything for the 4 lives that you've taken. So yeah, I'll put your ass in Baghdad or Iraq or Iran or Bangkok or wherever, and you survive, and you come back, and if you're even more fucked up and crazy, well, the military police can take care of ya real nice. Like, that is like, like, that's just what I think.
I mean, I don't know. I definitely feel like this guy should never see the light of day outside of a jail cell. This guy took 4 people's lives, and now he's going to have to pay dearly for it, to where he is now going to be,
Why he took 4 lives? Why does his dad?
It seems to me he just wanted to hurt people, and we do have, like they said, they had issues to where they got to the point they called the parents in to say, "Hey, your kid is starting to freak people out." And they still let him come to school. And the superintendent of that school system posted a 3-page later Saturday afternoon addressing questions that many of the parents have been asking. And he acknowledges that the decision to let Ethan Crumbley, who is the name of the school shooter, stay in school on Tuesday without a backpack search caused anger, confusion, and prompted an understandable questioning, according to DeadlineDetroit.com.
The whole school fucked up.
I don't understand why people don't take this stuff seriously. Like, I understand it's kind of one of those things where you don't know if it's an edgy joke or if it's something like that. But to me, this is something that deserves zero tolerance, to where at the very least, if you're making violent scribblings about killing other like classmates in a shooting or whatever, and there isn't like an explanation for it, you know what I mean? Like, if there's a difference between like, this is an art project and I'm making a painting about gun violence versus like I'm scribbling in my notebook and manically looking around, then that person should have their backpack checked for at least the rest of the school year.
There's
at least.
I see. This is why, like, I don't know, man. I feel bad. It's a white problem, bro. Like, I've worked in nothing but inner city schools. You know how many backpack searches that went on? You know how many times schools got on lockdown? There was a dad that brought a gun to the school to not even shoot a kid. He wanted to scare the fucking kid, and he thought that was the best way to scare him. Literally,
that's so inappropriate.
It's like the dumbest shit in the world. You know how quick these schools played no games? No games. We saw there was one school I was in that had a gun shell. I mean, a bullet casing or whatever the fuck, empty on the staircase. They had canines sniffing everything in matter of minutes. Like they don't play games. There is zero tolerance. There was kids that wrote crazy shit in the notebook. Cops were called. That kid went straight to the station. Parents came in. Yo, I don't know. I can't account for your kid because I also got to account for the safety of 900 other motherfuckers. But in these white ass schools where they don't want to be embarrassing, they don't want to show face, they don't want to have the news, they don't want to get anything on them, they try to hide crap, and this is why that happens, bro. It's not a gun problem. It's not a fucking a crazy kid problem, bro. It's a white problem. Y'all gotta stop being ashamed of y'all own shit and understand that, yo, y'all gotta handle shit. Because that principle, you missed mad opportunities. From gun gestures to writing in the notebook to one kid saying that he feels uncomfortable, because that's all you literally need is one kid literally saying, I feel uncomfortable around such and such. That's already, you're good to green light the whole shit.
Now, just to be fair, just to offer a counterpoint, if the criteria for a kid having an issue is just one guy saying, hey, I'm uncomfortable around that guy, you're going to have friends telling the principal that their friend makes them uncomfortable and they both get sent home for the day.
Yep.
But like, I do think that, and I think you should have been sent home, and this should have been a no nonsense. So reading more into the article from DeadlineDetroit.com, the parents were asked on Tuesday morning to take their son home for the day. Yeah. And they flat refused and left to go to work. Now Evan did not have any other prior disciplinary infractions. So they said, like, there's not really much we can do. He's not a repeat offender, and we'd rather keep him here where he can be supervised than go to his house empty and be able to plan something or do something to like malicious. I think that was the wrong decision in hindsight, and I hope that influences future decisions where you have somebody who is essentially like getting all the telltale signs, you take a little more serious. Now, that's tough to do among high schoolers because of the whole reputation and drama kind of a thing. If you get a child who, is having issues like that or whatever, and say they're doing it, but they don't mean it, you're going to get people who's like, oh, there's a school shooter. That's a school shooter. And that could escalate them to the point where instead of just considering it, now they want to do it even more. And then that could like breed more issues. I'm just throwing out like, why don't people do this? Why don't they respond as quickly?
So, okay. I went through 4 shooting situations. Not people actually, well, besides that parent, but I don't consider that a school shooting. I just think that dude was a moron. But I went through other 4 scenarios where we had red flags. And at those scenarios, each and every one of them, we made sure to go 1,000% undercover on everything. We checked his bag. We went into his locker. We did all this. We asked around to his friends. We called his parents. We called the cops. We had everything. By the time the cops were called, we already had enough evidence to know, like, yo, we're doing this, and we feel like this, and he's writing this, and we found this, and we're just letting you know, and now we're having this conversation here. Like, it's so much like, yeah, all those kids saying school shooter, that could definitely happen, and that's all the noise, and I feel that. But as a leader or a captain of a ship has to be above the storm so he can know how to navigate it, not react while the storm is on top of him, And in all the schools that I've been in the inner cities, there's a zero tolerance for that because we have to be above that because of those situations. If we if we're going turn based on this, when the schools never win. That's why this school failed now, because they were trying to be nice, they were trying to play turn based, and they were doing turns. And here, you have a turn. Okay, give us a turn. Okay, now it's your turn. And then that kid was like, okay, in my turn, I'm gonna air this bitch out. And then they were like, oh shit. But then they couldn't do nothing because it wasn't their turn yet. And this is like, you don't do that. There's zero, like, and again, it's just like, and I'm not shitting on white people. It's just like in these white societies where you guys are sheltered and you guys care about your image and what the news does and stuff like that. You guys miss a lot of the balls because you guys worry about stupid shit that shouldn't be fucking y'all be worrying about. Y'all taking care of people's babies, man, like little kids. Like that shit is the most alarming phone call to get when you call a parent and saying, yo, there was a situation, your daughter is such and such. Or even if there's a situation, your daughter is fine. Before I get to your daughter is fine, you're already having a heart attack. Like, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's your child. You want to make sure
Yeah.
he or she's okay.
We got to be responsible for that, you know? And maybe I don't know, bro, but like I was always one of those people, son. Like if you're taking care of the kids, bro, that's way more important than anything else, man. And working in the inner cities, we got into some crazy shit, man. Gang violence, gang wars, fucking parks getting on fire, like crazy shit, son, to make sure that these kids went home to their fucking parents. And we had to catch it at the fucking spark, not at the ashes.
Could you pull up the screen share and could you go to a website called datausa.io?
Oh yeah.
Because now you got me curious. So the reason why I'm thinking of this, so datausa.io is a great website for any kind of statistical information on any town or city in the United States of America. If you want to look up your town's race statistics, financial statistics, crime statistics, everything, this website has it. Now, the reason I want to bring this up is I want to look at the demographics and the crime statistics of Oxford, Michigan to see how much crime goes on there. And just to respond to your point, essentially, Sage, is so in those areas, you said like it's inner city, there's a lot of gang violence or stuff that goes on, correct?
Yeah.
I want to see what kind of environment Oxford, Michigan is, so that way the people there aren't going to be equipped for someone like this. Like if he was doing shit in your school district, you'd be able to figure him out, jump on him and say, get him out, because you have experience with that. I don't think these administrators are going to have the ample experience too. And if they did, shame on them, and we're going to put them on blast here on the air. But I think that it's not so much of a like fragility issue. It's more of like they're not equipped to handle something like that because they've never experienced it. And you can only teach so much during workshops. And everyone always has that attitude of it's not going to be us. Like, this is stupid. I don't care. But it is something that has to be taken a little more seriously. That's shown here, because it's always the worst thing when a town that you've never heard of blows up on the news and now it's a big thing. And to see this, how it could have been entirely preventable, with the exception of that attitude being, oh, it can't happen here, there's no whatever, we shouldn't act on this. That's the worst thing. So I do want to see what the crime statistics are. So maybe, and I'm not defending the person who shot people, I'm not defending the parents, but I am just saying, what should we change for areas that don't have this kind of information or this kind of specific insight into school violence?
Oh yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have it up? It's currently, I think it's just me and you on the screen. Do you have datausa.io up?
Oh, you told me to do that? Nah, I'm sorry.
Oh no, might be. I thought like you had it set up. I got all my tabs open with my like articles and shit on it, so I don't want to put too much RAM into that and then crash my browser.
That's right. Now, what you said? Data what?
Datausa.io. Great website for anybody wanting to do any kind of statistical analysis of any towns in America.
Okay. Now, Data USA, share. All right.
There it is. So yeah, just type in Oxford, Michigan.
All right. A population of 3,542.
3,500 people. An insanely small population.
Super small. Okay, housing, living. What I gotta scroll down? Okay, diversity is home to.
Scroll down, you can see the charts. They put it in charts so you can see a little bit better.
White.
So this is a typical white. This is a typical white town that, like, I mean, I don't want to sound racist or profile, but how many towns with that many white people have giant gang violence? Like, we don't have like the Milk Monkeys and the Pages, like, you know what I mean?
But
like,
how many white people shoot up schools, Drew? Come on now. They should be training this in their schools. We train it in our schools because of them. They should be training it in theirs because of them. That's crazy. We have seen no black people shoot up schools. You want to know why? Because jail got nothing on a fucking Hispanic or black mom. They'll kill us before our fucking hearing. That shit don't. We don't give a fuck about prison. You know who does it? The white people. So why aren't white people more prepared? Because it only happens in white neighborhoods. It happens in the same predominant place. What's another school shooting place? What's that place that Alex Jones got sued?
That was Sandy Hook, Pennsylvania.
Sandy. Oh, it should be probably one word.
I don't think it is the town called Sandy Hook, or is that just the name of the elementary school?
I don't know. All right, hold on. I'm going on another tab.
We're gonna look that up.
Sandy Hook.
Actually, it was in Connecticut. The elementary school was in Newtonboro, Connecticut.
All right. Newton. Hexelboro? Like that? Definitely not. Hexelboro? Help me on live air.
B-O. Oh, did I already mess up?
Yeah, B-O, no. Unless I'm spelling Newton wrong. Unless he's Newton.
How about just look up Newton, Connecticut? See.
Oh.
Just Newton CT, because that's the abbreviation for Connecticut.
No.
Well, maybe Alex Jones is onto something. Does this place not exist?
Yo.
What's going on?
Let's see.
Is it Newtonboro? I'm so confused. That this thing is so. I'm on Google and it's so just. It says it's in Newton, Connecticut.
And I'm spelling Newton correctly, right?
Newton.
Yeah.
Yes. And then comma C-O-N. See if that brings that up. How about another N? Or how about just so Newton CT didn't work, really?
This place doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist, bro.
This place doesn't exist.
What's going on?
Alex
What's
Jones
actually happening?
Framed, bro. Yo, Alex
Oh,
Jones.
it's not Newton, it's Newtown. Wow, I'm gonna sound stupid for a bunch of people screaming. I can tell there's people screaming. Newtown, Connecticut.
Yeah, right.
I don't think it's that one because it said Puma.
I believe that. Sorry.
Yeah, so Newtown, Connecticut, not Newton. Newtown. And there it is. We got it eventually.
That's
guys. All that matters.
I'm sorry, Sandy Hook parents.
It's
bad.
okay. They do exist. You do exist. We found it.
Damn, 1,000 people?
Another
barely exist.
Insanely small population.
All right. And it is Medortly white, bro, male.
Scroll down to the
male.
crime statistics of the area, though, because I want to see what the most prevalent crime is in that area.
Oh, veterans, COVID-19. Wow, that's actually on there now.
Yeah, they have a ton of stats for any town you want to look into.
Nice. Oh my God. All right.
Yeah, right? They have everything.
Jesus Christ. All right. Employment, most common. Can I choose? Like, what? Okay, here we go. Civics, housing, transportation, health. What's crime? Industrial, occupation, wages, COVID, military, heritage. Is it under civics?
Possibly. Scroll. I mean, it is mostly a politics thing, but what do they have under here for that?
Transportation, health. All right, let's see how many people die.
For Newtown, Connecticut. So,
yeah. This place is pretty nice. Looks like there's no crime, buddy.
What's crazy too is it's 95% safer than most U.S. Cities and towns. It's safer than like the Connecticut as a whole, according to neighborhoodscout.com.
It's always on these places, bro. Nowhere else, man. It's never in a nice little. It's never in a hood ass place, bro. Want to know
and
why?
I think,
ain't got time.
And I think why, back to like what I was saying, I think the reason why is because there's no like experience in dealing with something like this, to where someone can pop off like that and it's not a thing. It's not a thing before then, so no one knows what to do, or no one takes it seriously what to do. Like in Chicago, like 8 people get shot every weekend. Are we having like insane like sigils over this and freaking out? No, because it's normalcy. You want me to like, it's, you know, I get it. The Joker, Heath Ledger, you know, oh, it's normal. But it is something that where when that happens, it's something where it's like, oh, it's business as usual for that area. But when you have an area that's small and that doesn't have a lot of crime, it takes that one to then do a ton of damage because no one's prepared for it.
I know the Bronx has crime. So
of course.
I'm trying to see if it's here. Like maybe that place doesn't have crime. So education, housing, transport. Here. Oh, it shows all the veterans. Oh,
yes,
cool.
It has a lot of data. If you're ever trying to figure out, this is a great place to look into if you're moving somewhere. You can figure out everything about the town you want to move into.
Except for the crime rate.
Yeah, I know, right? Why don't they advertise that?
It's like, what the hell? Yeah, crazy Democratic. Yeah, I know.
Hey, we've been stupid on stream before. Maybe we're missing it.
Nah, bro. I have a giant monitor, bro. It's a giant curved monitor, bro.
We were just going, Newton, it's Newton, when it was Newtown.
I didn't see it. I was
and you went along with it, though. You never questioned me.
Bro, I gotta trust you, bro. You're my partner. This is what we do. I got your back. You say Newton, I Newton.
Isn't part of my show we talk about researching and questioning everything for yourself?
That's
Sage, really? Is that? You're
That's
showing my viewers firsthand what happens when you follow someone blindly, when you don't do your own research or question. Unreal. That's why I always tell you to do your own research at the end of the show.
Yo, it's not about that, guys. Listen, we still can't find crime. And you can't tell me that Bronx has gotten safe. One of my boys
no crime anywhere. There's no crime in Bossing, say.
Community, come on.
So I think a good website for the crime statistics is neighborhoodscout.com. Because that's the site that I looked into, and it gave me a really good representation of Newtown, Connecticut.
All right.
Sage, could you keep them entertained for a second? I'm getting some information on my screen right now that my connection's becoming unstable. I'm gonna go kick my router. I'll be right back, okay?
Yeah, not a problem. All right, guys, we're gonna go look at the Bronx. Let's see how bad it's going over here. Let's scout this bad boy. All right, Rikers Island is 5th. All right, I don't know in what, but it is. Boys and girls, shout out to that. Oh, most expensive neighborhoods. Rikers Island Bridge. That's expensive. Give me the demographic. No, give me the crime, baby. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Crime index. Safer than 19% of the United States cities. It's not bad. 19%. I feel like that's great, guys. Don't you feel like 19% is great? If not, you guys are tweaking. You guys are, I feel like 19% is perfect. Number of crimes. Violent, 12,000. Wow. Property, 25,000. All right. So a bunch of those shits are like graffiti and shit. I want y'all to know. So it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. Bronx crime rate, total report, murder, 7. Oh my God, 600 rapes. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. 600 rapes in the Bronx. Of a population of 1.4 million. They ain't got time to say that whole ass fucking number. All right. They got 71. $326 fucking assaults. Holy fuck. Bronx, New York. The Bronx, New York. Now, Bronx's property crimes. They got total report of burglaries, 2,428. Honestly, bro, that's pretty fucking low, man. Nobody's robbing, nobody's burglaring no more. That's pretty great. Theft, 20,000. It's probably because everybody's still fucking robbing niggas in the fucking streets. That's insane. Oh my God. Motor thefts is only at 1,000. Not bad. Rate per 1,000. Jesus. Well, it's getting pretty high. There we go. We get down to the bottom. Let's entertain people. Political. So let's figure out why Chris Cuomo.
And this is breaking news we are following. CNN has fired anchor Chris Cuomo, and CNN made the announcement in a statement.
I've returned. What are we looking into?
Given new evidence in their investigation, the network suspended
the Chris Cuomo
this week after an investigation revealed how he aided in his brother's, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's, defense during a sexual harassment scandal. They found text messages between the former CNN anchor and several aides that revealed he planned to use his connections in the press to help his brother's team.
Oh, Chris.
I wonder why he's actually getting punished for that. I feel like... Oh, that Spider-Man video has been showing up in my recommendeds too. I feel like that's so weird that, like, I mean, it's good. I'm glad that he's getting punished for it and that we're recognizing you can't just use the press out of a get out of jail free card. But I'm surprised that CNN of all networks that has been more of like a rag for the past 4 or 5 years during the Trump administration is very much passionate about making sure someone doesn't manipulate through the press.
I honestly feel like I feel like it was only like, it's like kind of like when you do a job, right? Like me, you, and we get Dan, Logan, and we all do a job. And then after we do the job, right, we get the money. But we don't want to split the money we just want to split the money too. So we gotta kill Dan and Logan. I feel like that's what happened. They did the job. The job was everything that happened throughout the pandemic. Then after that, they were like, look, a lot of people are eating out of the pot after this whole pandemic thing. Because a lot of shady shit happened in this pandemic. You know, things that we don't know, things that people are talking about, you know, and a lot of people got their hands fucking dirty. So the government's like, yeah, too many people know too many things. We gotta kill them off. So they started taking people out. Governor Cuomo was one of them. His stupid ass sexual assault things. And then now his brother's another one. They just gotta get the people. They gotta just take them out so they can get a bigger piece of the pie. I think it's bullshit. I think it's corny. It's like, I mean, honestly, you know, like, it's not like I'm like, yeah, give Governor Cuomo his job back. Like, nah, bro, you did scum shit and you got caught, bro. So this is the game. You know, you can't be mad because you lost the game. You know, you were supposed to be smarter than the game. You know, but you lost, so it's over. But you know, this whole, you know, like, just trying to make, like, now people are saying, like, a lot of people, like, on my timeline are talking mad shit about Chris Cuomo, and it's like, y'all, I didn't hear y'all talk about Chris at all. Like, and now y'all hate him. He's a monster, a sick fuck, and all these things. Like, y'all don't even know this person. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of CNN, so I don't follow a lot of their anchors or know anything about their permanent, like, staff retainer. So to see that something's going on and they're taking action for it, hey, you know, at least they're doing something about it.
You know, and
but yeah, that's, you know, this is textbook like corruption and you know, and using who you know to get to a certain place. Speaking of which, we have another big trial. We have a third big trial in the past month and a half. The Ghislaine Maxwell trial.
Oh God.
Have you been seeing that one? That one's tough to follow because no news organization is going to push that one heavy.
I can't. You know, you know, it's funny. I didn't even hear about it on YouTube. I heard about it on a podcast of who, like, I listened to, and they were talking about it. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, yeah. And honestly, I feel like she's not going to talk.
Well, of course she's not going to talk.
Like, so I feel like she's gonna go do her fake time, and then she's gonna fake die.
She's gonna fake die now, yeah.
She's gonna go live with her husband. That's probably living in a little island outside the coast of Japan, chilling. Like,
you know what's crazy about the Maxwell family?
What?
And something I find extremely just telling. So Robert Maxwell has a publishing company that publishes a lot of books for a lot of schools all throughout the US.
Okay.
Every single history book you and I have ever read was published by her father.
Yeah.
Every single one. It's only, like, it was founded and owned by her father. So if you think that this historic trial with these elites that we've, like, the proof is out there that these people are doing horrendous things. If you think this is going to make it any history book I'm going to laugh at you. Because it's not. The people who own the publishing house are the people who are doing this. They won't ever let this go in the halls of history.
Like, this shit is like, this is all for our eyes only, for our time only, you know? Like, it's like, you know, this, I wonder how many void centuries do we have in our lifetime, you know, that we don't even know, because we're sitting here thinking that we have this knowledge of what happened. You know, like, I forgot, like, there was a time, which, man, I got to get back on it now that I got my computer, but I remember I found this website, right, that had the Nixon tapes. Well, it had like 87% of the Nixon tapes. And it was like all online, and you can listen to them, like every single audio. And I remember I told Dan, I was like, yo, I want to listen to all these audio tapes. And then, like, Dan didn't say anything. Dan was like, dope, do it. And then, like, I think, like, Jackie was like, why the fuck would you fucking do that? But, like, I think stuff like that, I think it's really important. Like, I want to know who Nixon was out of my own ears, you know, not what these people, like, people told me that Nixon was like this crazy ass person. I just finished watching, I saw a documentary of him, and I was like, wait, what made him a crazy person? I was like, because he phone tapped the Democrats. I was like, that shit doesn't, I was like, this is why we hate him. I was like, bro, I want to do that now. I was like, I'm not understanding why Nixon was a bad person, bro. I was like, he actually tried to get a female in the seat before that other lady, but they didn't let it happen. And he made that speech saying that he said that I couldn't get a woman to sit on the seat, but I did make the opportunity for a woman to come and sit on the seat. So he was notorious for that. He was all about the low income housings and all the black agenda. So I was really confused. Like, oh my God, why is Nixon this crazy person? Like, why is he the worst president of all time? And then it's like, oh, because he phone tapped the Democrats during the election. And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, yeah. And then he also phone tapped himself in his own private conversations. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like stuff like that, like, that's something that we should definitely be doing our own, like we should be taking very focus on these moments. That's for our eyes only. Like, you know, because our kids are not going to believe this. Like, we're going to tell our kids this, and they're going to be like, oh, this didn't happen. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're going to say, hey, when we were in our 20s, there was an international pedophile sex ring of elites that were it was run by a banker that you've never heard of, and there were hundreds of celebrities and government officials' names on the list, essentially proving they knew and were a part of this scheme. And it sounds like something out of a movie. You're not going to believe it unless you're here and you're a part of it, like we're seeing.
I'm telling you. And then, like, it's going to be even more crazier when Jeffrey Epstein and her fucking and his ugly ass wife is going to start showing up around hanging out. And they're going to think, oh, no, that's not Jeffrey. Yeah, it is, bro. He just got plastic surgery. He's not dead. She's not going to die, but she's going to fake die. And they're going to be living their happy lives, bro. Like, these niggas are untouchable.
And that's the unfortunate part, is that these people are indeed untouchable.
Yeah.
And hopefully soon, I mean, I don't know. I didn't want to sound like them. I was like, hopefully soon we'll be able to touch them. But, you know, that's their whole thing. They want to be the ones touching. But it's something that's unprecedented. There's this massive, like, I hate it that Alex Jones is right when he talks about this kind of stuff. You go back and he's talking about, like, pedophile sex operations among elites, and you find out he's right about that. At least when he gets to aliens and shit, it doesn't, you know, it falls apart. But like, this is all something that's been happening. And I have a Twitter thread. It's on my phone. I'd have to find it very quickly. But it is a Twitter thread of the elected officials that were on the flight log that were submitted as public evidence as part of this trial. Let me see if it's still in my saved tweets here.
I mean, do you have the share screen feature? Do you want to share a screen?
It's on my phone. It wouldn't be on. I wouldn't be able to get to my browser without leaking my password or taking forever. It's also a screenshot of the tweets put on iFunny, and I'm definitely not showing you my iFunny page. But because we all know about iFunny. Oh, dude, I've been on that app for 10 years already. I'm a deep veteran. I've seen everything. What app for the Aussie? I know those. Whenever like new kids try to show up and part of the ship, part of the crew. Shut up, bro. I was here from the beginning.
For real,
Cringe.
yo, get out of here.
Okay,
bro.
I found it here. So I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. Is it Ghislaine? Ghislaine? Just the Maxwell list. It became unsealed some time ago, and these are all the like officials that were on it. Spokesperson for the Democratic Arkansas Party, Harold Moody Jr. Oh, it's going by so fast. Massachusetts Congressman. Oh, it's going by stupid fast. So hold on. The Twitter handle it's Vic Subtle Bog something. Let me see if I can pull that up and I'll screen share it so we can all see what I'm talking about instead of me squinting at a phone and reading. Oh shoot.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing then.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I accidentally turned airplane mode on. I thought I just lost you for a second. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Am I DC'd? Okay, I put my phone on my keyboard and it hit airplane mode by accident. So we're going to Twitter and we're checking out this thread here. What's happening right now on Twitter.com? We're currently streaming to Twitter as well on my account. Did you see the crypto crash that happened yesterday?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And it was ironic that the app stopped working too.
Oh, of course, because so many people were trying to put it out, like trying to pull out. Subtle at Subtle Bodhi. There we are. Let's see if this guy committed suicide by shooting himself in the back of the head yet. A lot of tweets about music theory for a guy who leaked this list. He didn't leak the list. He just like talked about it a little bit. Let me see if I wonder if it's still up. I really hope it's still up. Let's hold on. I don't want to like just in case this guy's showing something inappropriate, I'm not going to stream the screen until I find what I'm looking for. Because I don't want to like scroll down and just, see his like penis exposed or something stupid like that. You never know, man. Twitter's insane.
Twitter is my Twitter is like that. My Twitter.
You see Twitter's CEO stepping down? There's gonna be a new one in charge.
That's a fucking. I wonder why too. I don't
know. Maybe just trying to pull out. He's like, that's it.
He touched kids, bro. I bet you he did. I never trusted that Twitter guy.
I know he was like, he used to tweet about his love for Satan, so that was always fun.
I forgot about that. Yo, He was wild. Yo, yeah. Twitter was.
So it was one of those things where it's like, ugh. He says he has 1,500 tweets. It's only letting me see like 5 of them. Hello.
You're not valid.
I hear you can't like just search from their specific Twitter. New CEO of Twitter, get on that so I can find stuff for my show quicker.
Yeah, and pop up on the show.
That would be insane. Imagine we get like someone as high profile as him.
I'm so glad that I have you on here, right? And I'm gonna ask you on live air. How do we get in touch with Kyle Rittenhouse?
Oh, I don't know.
Bro.
You think I have access to Kyle Rittenhouse?
I would think you would know how to get access to Kyle Rittenhouse, or how to get access.
I mean, I subscribed to a newsletter about his campaign a year ago because I was interested to see how it went. I can forward you one of the emails from there. I don't know if he's gonna be like accessible through there, but we can start there. We can figure that out.
Bro, wouldn't you love to have him on the show, bro? So we could.
That would be insanity. That would be crazy.
I think that's what I want us to do. Like, I want to get him on the Sageway too, but like, I want to bring him on here as well. Like, I'm gonna bring him to Coincidentally. I know Dan would love to get a crack at his ass.
Oh, there would be like a council of us, and it would be like a 5-hour long show of everyone just like asking him questions. It would be insane. There would be so many people here. That would be a very, very interesting episode of any show we decide. That would probably be like a Politishock. That would be like a Politishock, like special edition. I would like take work off for that. Like that would be intense. Get him on. Okay, sweet. So I found it, and we can. Let me my screen real quick here. This is all new to me. Never done this on this before. Don't show the tips. Thank you. Yeah, actually, no, just show the Opera tab. Oh, that's cool. Yo, StreamYard is cool.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. We got it. So, yeah, this is the guy I'm trying to find, but I couldn't scroll down to the tweet, so someone reposted it. Thank goodness. So, the list became unsealed sometime yesterday. This is what happened. All of these names: Democratic Illinois State Representative Keith Farnham has resigned and was charged with possession of child pornography. And he has been accused of bragging at an online site about sexually molesting a 6-year-old girl. Now, the sources of this are, dude, trust me. So take this with a grain of salt. I'm reporting what is being reported here.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of underage kid touching, a lot of child pornography, which just I don't know how you can look at that and go, oh yeah, like that's what I like. You know what I mean?
For real, I could see that.
But party leader in Texas, Democratic activist and fundraiser Terrence Bean, Democratic Party chairman for Davidson County, Tennessee, former mayors of Nebraska, Georgia, California, Oregon. A lot of elected officials are involved in this, and it keeps going. Republican Tim Nolan, chairman of Donald Trump's presidential campaign in Kentucky, pled guilty to sex trafficking on February 11, 2018. He was sentenced to serve 20 years in prison. Republican State Senator Ralph Shorty was indicted on 4 counts of human trafficking and child pornography. I like how this person separated them into Democrat and Republicans. Because I was sitting here like, oh, come on, this seems like kind of a party bash kind of a thing. But there was a second one. And this was back in August of 2020, so this is old. Probably why I couldn't scroll up to find it.
Jesus.
That's why I was hesitant to bring up the party name, because I was thinking like, oh, come on, don't let this be a party bashing thing. Like let's be a pedo bashing thing, not a party bashing. But I'm glad it was separated.
You got a blue side and a red side.
Yeah, exactly. Because the elites, these people all in our government, doesn't matter what side they're on, they all come together and agree on having sex with underage individuals and having these just wild sex parties with their friend Epstein and Maxwell. It's unreal.
It's fucking disgusting.
Mm-hmm. And that tweet, I don't know if you saw that there. That's a good point. This tweet under here, if this is true, and I'm not saying it isn't, why isn't this all over the news? I'm sickened. Because these people are the news. They run the news. We saw that with CNN and Como. The only thing is the Como guy got caught because he was going to threaten people with that information.
Yep. And they fucked up. And this is, yo, man, the elites. This is why I tell people, like, yo, like, none of this matters, bro. Like, none of this crazy news stuff, none of this things. Like, this shit isn't real. Like, no one cares. Jeffrey Epstein isn't dead, bro.
So, as horrific as it was, and as much of a tragedy as it was, that shooting in Oxford, Michigan, while awful, while something absolutely reprehensible and something where I want to see everyone involved get put to justice, how much you want to bet that is going to take precedence of the news for this entire upcoming week? Because if they're covering that, they're not covering this trial.
Yep.
Or Omicron variant stuff, or other, like, there's going to be some big thing that's going to, just you wait. There's going to be some big thing that's going to take up all of news this week to make sure we can't hear anything about that trial going on. We're not going to be able to hear anything about it unless you do your own independent research. And the average consumer, the average person who's just listening to the news isn't going to do that. They're just going to listen to whatever they say on the radio as they're driving to and from work.
Yeah, they're going to focus on the new Spider-Man movie that's probably coming out. Christmas stuff. Mariah Carey memes.
That's right. And I'm absolutely soy jacked over the new Spider-Man movie. But I'm going to make sure I take my time and do my research on my news.
Yep. Because the world is really important. And people don't, I don't know. I told you, bro, like I get mad about that. Like people don't put this time in. And like, you know, like, and thank God, you know, in the Ahmaud Arbery case, you know, these motherfuckers got what they fucking deserve.
Oh, yes, they did. Yes, they did. And I'm glad they did.
I was like, thank the fucking Lord, bro. Like,
we're currently 2 out of 3 verdicts I agree with in like major nationwide cases. Hopefully we get number 3 with the Maxwell trial.
Nah, isn't there one more we're waiting on? Yeah, the January 6th trial.
Oh, when's that going to be?
I don't know.
Is that upcoming this week, or it's probably going to be next month because it takes a year for that stuff to go through. So
they got a task force going on, man. Who knows?
Oh boy, we love our task forces.
Task force. What does that mean? Like, what is this task force?
So
like
a task force is when you take a bunch of different people and assets from a bunch of different areas and combining it together to a single force to accomplish a goal. So say, like, you know, we want to investigate something in the Bronx. So they get people from the Bronx Police Department, they get people from the CIA, they get people from like the Canadian intelligence, they get people from like local, like whatever. That's a task force because it's people from different areas and different specialties being all put together to perform a certain function. Now, you know the difference between a task force and a strike team?
No, what's the difference between a strike team and a task force?
A strike team is almost the same thing, except everyone's from the same pool of resources. So like a task force is going to all these different areas, grabbing people and then putting them together in a team. A strike team is like, hey, we need to do an investigation. We need like 5 people from the LAPD to go do this. Then that is a strike team because they're all from the same resource.
Oh, okay.
But if you got like a guy from the LAPD, a guy from the NYPD, you got a guy from like Oklahoma State Police, that's a task force because it's different. The task force is the hot word. Strike team is not the hot word. But just so that way you can be mildly infuriated like I am when I read news articles and go, that's not a task force, it's a strike team because they all come from the same police department. So like, you probably not going to help you in the long run, but you can share my frustration now because I know that. Man. And the news doesn't like adding the word strike team to things. It likes
I can't wait to watch something or read something. No, that's a strike. I mean, that's a task force, not a strike team.
Yeah, you're gonna get
like, oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna see a news article where some lady's gonna go, or some like news reporter. I'm thinking of like Trisha Takanawa. That's why I said lady. News reporter. I'm not sexist toward news reporters. Please don't cancel me. But like, you're gonna have some news anchor saying like, oh, and the task force from the LAPD investigated. Oh, where in the LA, just LAPD officers? That's a strike team. It's not a task force. You said it wrong. And you're just going to get mildly infuriated. It's not going to help you on anything. It's just going to make you mad because people aren't using the right term.
Thanks for taking away my happiness.
No problem. I got you. You and everybody else watching, you now know a little bit more.
Oh, man. But yeah, like, you know, like I think that January 6th shit is going to be that's going to
be interesting. Yeah. And I can definitely, depending on how that's slated to go, I can definitely see that being either blasted by the media or suppressed by the media. Because if they feel like they can crucify the people who are there, as well as Trump or any like mainline conservative politicians, they're going to blast out all the news. If they feel like that the people are going to get off or get not the sentences that people think they're going to get, then I can definitely see like them suppressing it with something stupid, like another COVID variant, maybe. Who knows? Have you seen some of the trial paintings and like illustrations of the trial? Those are funny. So in some cases, they won't let the press into high level trials under the parameter of we don't want the jury's face and information to be leaked, and we don't want like specific people in the courtroom to know that other specific people in the courtroom are there, or like, you know, they just want to keep innocent people from being identified and like having a whole issue. So sometimes they'll have illustrations, and one of the illustrations has Ghislaine Maxwell looking right at the illustrator and drawing the illustrator. And I saw a Twitter caption that was, imagine you're like illustrating somebody and that person turns around and starts illustrating you.
Wait, is it this one?
Is it this one? Click on it. Let's check a couple of them out. Like, look how angry she looks. She always looks, and a lot of them, she looks like she's looking at them super snide. Like, I wonder if that was like an artist choice, or if they're just...
This one had to be like the first day, and then this person got fired. Like, they were like, yo, what the fuck is this? And they're like, yo, this is my picture. They're like, get the fuck out of here, bro.
They got to draw them fast, and they can't draw them too accurate, or they're going to reveal the identities of people, so...
Bro,
they're
we
cool
know
with
who that is. Like, that's crazy. It has her name right here.
Well, not her per se, but like people in the gallery, people in the stands, the jurors, the cops. Like, look how mean she looks. And like, I'm not defending this person who is very clearly someone who groomed children to be used in this sex trafficking operation. I just think it's funny how they're portraying her in these drawings, where she always looks like she's pissed people are drawing her. Oh yeah, so they were showed, the jury today was shown the massage table from Epstein's Island, which is apparently riddled with sex toys. So that's an interesting day on the stand.
Oh, that had to be that picture. Okay.
Yeah, that's them probably like showing that out, and she always looks so mad.
Bro.
She always looks like she knows she's being sped drawn, and she knows she's not getting a good angle.
She's like, I am my husband.
Yeah. My late husband, who's definitely still kicking around somewhere.
Oh man.
That's the one. Yeah. That's the one. Like the caption was, imagine you're doing a trial illustration and the defendant starts drawing you.
She's like, this is how you do it.
Nah, she's like, I'm gonna hand this off to my hitmen after this.
Dito, bro, like that lady is gonna fucking. I wouldn't even say she's gonna rot. Look at this happy couple. Look at this happy couple of pedos. Like, she looks like a fucking Disney character.
Well, I mean, they had the money to be Disney characters, essentially. They could do whatever they wanted.
Oh, my goodness. Yo, why this judge is, like, the best thing drawn ever. Like, They focused on her so beautifully. She's like,
Is that a woman?
that is a woman.
Is it?
I don't know.
You can't be mad at me. You can't be mad at me for saying that. It's a drawing.
I don't want to.
If it was an actual like photograph, you can be mad at me.
Let me see.
But it's a drawing. It's up to interpretation.
It's showing a bunch of men.
Oh, now we're just looking at art. This isn't political anymore. This is just about art. So the defense's argument in this trial for Maxwell is that she wasn't necessarily someone who facilitated and was involved of her own free will. It was more like she was a puppet instead of accomplice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but a puppet.
Which I buy that as much as I buy expired cabbage. I don't know how to finish that phrase, but I'm just saying I don't.
Why didn't you kill him? You had
not so much kill, but why didn't like? I don't know. To me, that seems like if you were as involved with it as you were, you had to have been okay with it to a certain extent. You know, to a point where there's no longer a she was used and manipulated. I don't know. At that point, when you're grabbing children to like do that to and groom them and get them to come to this island, you're not like you have to, in order to enter an emotional manipulative stance like that, you need to fully know what you're doing and fully want to know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, bro. Like if she was doing that out of her own free will, bro, she would have killed him. It would have been some crazy plan, like to take over his empire and to free those girls. Like,
well, no. If you think about it, though, if she does that, how many people are going to be after her? That was probably brought up. Like at one point during all of these criminal enterprises, I always think there has to be at least one part where someone says, "And what if I refuse?" Or "What if I run to the press about this right now?" And they probably are always given the reason of, well, number one, you wouldn't be allowed to leave this island. Number two, you'd be killed before you could get there. Number three, if you killed me, you would destabilize the culture of the elites and therefore the economy, and everyone would be up in arms and you would be causing mass chaos. Like you would be killing people if you did that. Like there's some kind of fear tactic that's used to retain them. So I know that there are people who are brought into unfortunate circumstances, like not like to the extreme of what Maxwell is doing, but more to like having to contribute to a system that you don't like or don't support because of exterior factors. So I understand that, but in her position, there's no way she could have in good conscience known of something like that was going on like that and then continue to do it and not have any kind of input against it. Like she had to have known what she was doing and enjoyed at the very least the profit off of it.
1000%. She was living her best life, bro. Yeah. And she's a Maxwell. So why would she be controlled? That doesn't make any sense either. Your father and your family is one of the most powerful families in the world.
Yeah, it was a legit marriage of elites. So why would she?
Yeah,
she has her own. If she divorced Epstein because she didn't like what was going on, it's not like she would have been disenfranchised because of that. She would have been fine.
I feel not even disenfranchised. Who's Epstein compared to Maxwell?
I mean, Epstein. Well, he was a very much well-known, respected banker who was very in deep with elites. I feel like he got to where he was through his banking and financial skills, but I feel like he stayed where he was because he was able to cultivate the dirt on people. And it was kind of like honeypotted them, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So, and I read a theory one time on the poll board of 4chan, and it's just a theory, so take it with a grain of salt, but I can see the way that he would build up clients is he would invite them to a party, and then he would get one of his groomed girls to go over and seduce someone at said party, the person would have sex with that groomed girl, not knowing she was underage, would find out, oh shit, that person was a child, and then Epstein now has you and says, listen, you're gonna keep your mouth shut, or I'm going to leak this everywhere, and you're gonna be known as a pedophile. A lot of people probably cheating on their spouses with like children, and either they get that and understand and stay away, or they get that and say, well, fuck it, like, it's might as well keep doing it. She was nice. So I feel like that's how a lot of that started, and how there wasn't any whistleblowers, because they were all part of the club where if one person flaked, everyone's shit was going to be out there. It was going to kill like a lot of people's reputation. Could have ended with them getting killed. Ends with a lot of people's friends and associates in jail.
Yeah, he's so not dead.
I don't think he died. I think he was escorted somewhere. Because if you think about it, he was the person who ran their entire pedophile ring to a point where it was going on for more than 20 years and it wasn't discovered by the United States population until like something came out about it. And now that he's dead, no one's looking for him.
Yep.
We're not looking for him if he's dead.
And even before, like we already saw, like the government couldn't hold him. When they held him before, he was chilling in that Supermax. He was walking around, or whatever. Was he in a super? Yeah, I think he was in a Supermax.
He wasn't a Supermax, but it was more for like to keep people away from him than it was to keep him from breaking out, which I think is hilarious because, like, do you remember the official story of his suicide? And how insultingly fake it is.
I think from what I remember, it was the cameras were all messed up, and the
camera magically went out right before he tried to do it, which he couldn't have known that was happening, by the way. So the camera went out in his cell right before he tried it. They only had 7 guards on for the entire prison. They were all on triple overtime, like working triples. So they were all like tired and had to be resting in other areas. Like it was way too much of a perfect storm to be able to have Jeffrey Epstein kill himself, and not to even count how he did it, where, for as cringe as he can be, Louder with Crowder, he did a whole special episode, like an Epstein suicide special episode, where he said, listen, I am going to try to kill myself the same way Jeffrey Epstein did in his report. And he was so certain that he was like, listen, I'm going to try to do it. And if I die, if I kill myself doing this, then we know it's plausible. And he tried for hours to try to kill himself the way that the report said he did. And he couldn't do it.
Wait, so how did he kill himself?
They said he hung himself using his bed sheets from his bunk bed.
Okay.
Which, unless you have someone like pulling you by the legs or pushing down on you, you weren't going to get enough like weightlessness to be able to force that around your neck, It had to have been from a scene, because the whole point of hanging, which is the official way Jeffrey Epstein died, is the gravity is going to go all onto your neck and your windpipe and the veins in your neck, to where then you disable oxygen to your brain and die. But if you tie something tight and then you sit down like this, unless something's pulling up on it or it's way high up and it's high tension, you're not going to get there.
So he was sitting down, and then
he was like, he like hung himself from a second bunk in his room.
Bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, it is insultingly fake.
So he sexually choked himself?
Yeah, like essentially, like imagine if it was actually autoerotic asphyxiation.
Bro? That's what you're telling me.
Imagine it was autoerotic asphyxiation and they don't want anyone to know about it.
Oh my god. They're like, well, he they were like, yo, how can we fake kill him? Well, sir, he does like to do that shit with the bed sheets, right? Oh yeah, say he hung himself. Then what the fuck? So he was sitting down. He took the sheets around his neck, sitting down in the bottom bunk, wrapped the sheets from the top bunk, and decided to pull like a lever himself.
Yeah, essentially hang himself from a place where he couldn't have killed himself if he tried.
You know how hard that is to kill yourself that way?
Yes.
That's like trying to self-drown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so, you have to literally want to die. For that, like, nah, that's wow. Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein stole a lot of people. I'm telling you, he's in a off coast island from Japan, chilling.
Absolutely. I don't like. It was definitely not a suicide. You know, believe what you will about if he's alive, if he's dead, if he's doing one thing, if he's doing another, but you can't tell me that official report is actually what happened. There's no way. There's no way that is the official real thing that happened, where he was able to pull off this extremely difficult maneuver as he had magic camera malfunction in his room while there were only 7 guards on in the wing, all on a triple overtime shift. You can't tell me that perfect storm wasn't something that was planned and written out. Like, the elites think we're that stupid to where we'll accept that.
It's my goodness. It's like, and it doesn't make, I don't know, like, even if he didn't kill himself, even if it was like Jeffrey Epstein got shanked, right? Because then that story will make more of a sense. The cameras are fucked up. The guards are overly worked. The inmates would have known that. So it would have gone to inmates to go inside and kill him. Wouldn't that be a little bit more acceptable? Like, oh, all right. At least with that perfect storm.
See, like, I don't know, because if there was any point in that story where it wasn't the perfect storm of everything messing up just in time for him to kill himself, there would have been hey, that person's in the pocket of the elites, or that person's probably responsible for it, to where it would have been an easy out and no one would have accepted it. Whereas I feel like a freak accident of 3 different avenues of like fail safes didn't work is more plausible than like, oh, like the guards weren't all on triple overtime, they were just incompetent. Then people would start to say, okay, they weren't incompetent, someone paid them, and there would have been a whole like rally for an investigation and whatever. Like it would have been a whole thing to where I don't think that there would have been a like stop in the report, you know?
No, 100%. I feel that. I feel that. But at least we all agree that Bill Cosby also did it, right? As long as we agree.
Dude, what's like crazy about Bill Cosby is that yes, he did it, of course. And yes, it's like obvious. And I do think like he should be in jail. He should be in jail, and like it's bullshit that he got out. But if that isn't the biggest like this is the biggest example of you need to dot your I's, like cross your T's, you know, mind your P's and Q's, because when you make one small mistake like that, it can lead to someone who is convicted to be let out.
Yep.
See, that's why especially with the Oxford, Michigan trial, that's why you always plead not guilty, even if you did do it. Because if the prosecution messes up any step of the way, you can be let out, even though you did it and it was proved that you did it. So, right? So, even if you plead guilty, you can't appeal. You can't call for a mistrial if you agree to not have a trial. If you went up in front of the car, if the shooter in Michigan went up in front of his jury and said, "Oh, I plead guilty. I did do this. I admit it." and then they find out later that the prosecution obtained evidence illegally, there's no, okay, but the prosecution messed up, so you can go free. No, he admitted to it. So you always admit not guilty, because if any point the prosecution messes up, you can go free. And that, then, like, the Cosby case is a clear example of why you should. I don't think he's ever going to show his face anywhere. I don't think he can do more than leave his house. He's kind of under like a pseudo house arrest, you know?
Yeah, and he's also he's in the system, right? As a child predator.
I think he probably is a sex offender. I mean, I don't know if that went away with him getting out of his trial. I mean, not out of his trial, out of jail. But I do think that he is kind of, honestly, he's kind of in a worse position now. Because now that means, like, if he's walking down the street and some guy sees and goes, "Hey, that's Bill Cosby," you're going to get people who are going to jump him.
Nah.
Because they know what he did. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anyone's rushing to meet Bill Cosby again, you know?
No one's going to jump Bill Cosby, man.
I don't know, bro.
No,
you know, if you got somebody in your life, you know, like, a woman who was sexually assaulted like that, and you see some dude who got out of it for a bullshit reason. Yeah, I could definitely see some justice, some street justice being performed, you know?
All the people, all the victims that Bill Cosby, all the victims of Bill Cosby, they were all paid in civil. They were all taken care of. They all now have book deals, or they all got their things. So they're not looking.
Yeah, but now they can do a little extra justice now, because he's out.
They get themselves and then that will just hurt their case. Then that will work more on
the case has already gone by. They can't double jeopardy it. Like they've already did the thing, and you could definitely the media would 100% spin it as like someone reclaiming like themselves and, you know, doing like the better thing and whatever. And I agree with that. I definitely feel like these people should be getting the justice, and it sucks that the justice system kind of failed at that point. But, you know, it's like I said, it's that main example of you got to dot your I's, cross your T's, P's your Q's, the whole thing.
It's super important, but I definitely think like the world is definitely changed now. Like the streets and all that stuff. Like Zimmerman's alive, 6ix9ine's alive. They'll do nothing to Bill Cosby. He's a nobody. It'll be the same thing as for R. Kelly. R. Kelly comes out, they won't do nothing to R. Kelly either. He'll be perfectly fine.
R. Kelly's in how long is R. Kelly in jail for?
Bro, I think like 75 years. If I'm not even
really like life.
It's like, bro.
Yeah, said he was sentenced to 96 months.
No.
That must be added to it, because I know he was found guilty of racketeering.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he was found guilty, but his sentencing is in May, and he faces 10 years for counts of racketeering, sexual or exploits of a child, and kidnapping.
In one state, but there's multiple trials coming.
He's also going to have a Chicago trial of federal child pornography charges, and it's scheduled to begin in August.
Yeah. Yeah, so Kelly's in a different
Yeah, he's done. Like he's just going to bounce around from trial to trial. He's going to rack up a couple of years, and he's going to be away until he's old.
Yeah,
he's done.
Die. He's going to die in prison.
Yeah,
he's ready to get
the exact article I was just looking at, Rolling Stone. Yep.
Look at this guy, fucked up. He's not making it. I even think he got attacked his first month.
Did he really?
Oh my god, I'm gonna look that up, please. That's true.
I mean, those are the lowest people on the prison totem pole. Are sexual predators, child molesters. Those people are always at the bottom. Because a lot of the people in jail are a product of a like broken home where they usually are molested or abused. So you see a child molester, they go after them. It's crazy.
Attacked. Yeah, it's like, bro, like, and that's honestly like, that's why I really don't mind.
It's the first article right there. It said no. It said no one raised a finger as he was getting beaten in jail.
No one.
To his credit, I wouldn't have raised a finger either, bro.
Damn, they had.
Let him get his lumps, dude. He's trafficking children.
I can't find this shit, man.
He's either trafficking children or funding the traffic of children. It's like, yeah, get your ass beat, bro. You deserve that at least.
Damn, he gets life in prison for attacking. Gang member who attacked R. Kelly in jail gets life in prison for murder of 2 businessmen.
Oh yeah, but you know that's kind of deserved.
Look, that's the nigga who did it. Everybody.
Wow,
that's the guy.
You couldn't tell me that he beat R. Kelly. I wouldn't have. He seems like a pretty stable individual.
Oh man, they used to have the pictures of his back. Like he was all cut up in the back. Like they fucked him up.
Wait, R. Kelly?
Yeah, man. It was such a great picture to see. I don't know why. I'm so bad. I know that's someone getting attacked, but yo, fuck that guy.
It's a child trafficker. I really don't care.
Yeah, like
he could have his penis flayed live on TV, and I wouldn't feel bad. He is willingly letting children be abducted, groomed, and molested. I know he can have his dick get crushed in between boulders, and I would laugh. It's fine. This is not someone to feel bad for.
There's who else? Harvey. What's Harvey?
Harvey Weinstein. Oh, he's essentially like at his age, any sentence is a life sentence. Yeah, what's that lead up to? What has he been? How's he been?
Prison break. I know. Prison break. Get out of here. No, he didn't.
There's no way.
No,
I don't think so.
Why are you lying? I'm not gonna even click on that. Prison break. 23.
Yeah, so he's 23 years, which is a life sentence for him. How old? He's like 70 something. There's no way he's getting out of like it's not like he's gonna serve his 23 years and then be able to walk through. Yeah, he's 69 years old. Nah, yeah, he's gonna come out of there in his 90s. Yeah, okay.
Later, Harvey.
Yeah, okay.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy walking into prison with a fucking walker, bro. Hey guys, I'm a good guy. I just like to jerk off in front of women like a fucking creep.
I wonder what his prison experience is. You know what I mean?
Oh hell, bro! He's like
he's not like
protection, bro.
Yeah, he's not walking in the yard with like gang members and shit. Like, there's no way he would be like immediately killed if that was the case.
Yeah, imagine he has protection.
I mean, it's mostly to kind of protect them because it's one of those like from a moral standpoint, it's we're here to make sure that you serve your time, kind of a thing. Like dying would be easy, but spending the rest of your life here would be hard. But on another level, if you want to look at it differently, like if we just like sent all prisoners to like the same caliber of prison, we would be like essentially sending certain people to their deaths. And like there would be essentially like an inadvertent like death penalty, you know?
Yeah, we're trying to take out the death penalty, right? Like I wonder how many.
It depends on the state, and it depends on who wants it. Yeah. How many states have the death penalty? Oh, it's built like Legos. I love the colors.
I'm gonna go here. Mm-hmm. Okay, since more than 700 defendants have been sentenced to death row, there are more than one. Okay, this is so many numbers.
Yeah, because like the death penalty is a big deal. Like if you're given the death penalty, there's a whole thing you got to go through, and you can appeal that indefinitely because it is your life.
Okay, death penalty exists in the red states. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 states still have the death penalty.
Yeah, you can count.
Yay, guys, I did it.
Yay, he did it.
Bro, 20.
Okay, so yeah, 20
That's
states
wild.
do have the death
Florida
penalty.
has
Florida
the death penalty? Holy
yes, it
shit.
does. And they are pushing for the death penalty for the Parkland shooter. Last I heard about that, he is willing to plead guilty in exchange for life in prison instead of the death penalty. But the prosecutor in Florida, the DA, wants his head. He wants him to face the death penalty.
I think that's stupid. I guess. I mean, he's just a kid.
Well, he also killed 17 kids, right?
Yeah, but he's just a kid.
What was
his
he
life
killed people? What was his
his
how many
punishment?
people?
His punishment will be life in prison and him tormenting the fact that he took away 17 lives, bro. It's gonna fuck with him.
How many? Hold on, before we throw that number around, how many people died in the Parkland shooting? Parkland shooting. I believe his. Yeah, it was 17 people.
Yeah,
I remembered that number off rip. Yeah, 17 people. Yeah, he's a kid, but he also took the lives of 17 other kids. You know, like I understand where the DA is coming from here.
Yeah, but why he killed them?
Because he was deranged. He was like a typical like. I mean, like he's a freaking loser. You know what I mean? Like enough to where he wanted to take out his frustration of not being as popular as he wanted to be on the students of his school. There's a great video on YouTube. It's about an hour long. A couple of months ago, it was recommended to everybody. The YouTube algorithm really wanted us to watch this video about the psychology of people who fake insanity, which is what he did to try to get out of a prison sentence and more of an institution sentence. But it was very clear he was faking, and he very much enjoyed killing 17 of his classmates. Like
Was
enjoyed
he
it. He was probably, maybe. I feel like this will all be more information that's going to come out during the trial. Look up like a trial date for it. Maybe it's going to be soon. Parkland shooter trial. Let's see what that's going to be. Because I know he did plead guilty.
And now that the hearing is over and a guilty plea has been entered, jurors will now need to be chosen for a sentencing trial.
NBC6 investigator Willard Shepard is live in Fort Lauderdale. And Willard, it'll be a difficult task that could take some time, right?
Yeah, that's right, Jackie and Jawan. The hope was that by these guilty pleas being entered here today, it was going to spare these families from hearing a lot of the details about what happened to their kids and their loved ones. As we are seeing here, that was not the case, and that's not going to be the case going forward, as the prosecutors are going to have to present some of this when they're able to get a jury seated for the death penalty phase of this, and that's not going to be an easy task.
He's a penalty like
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. With all eyes on her, Broward Court
Oh, it's
Judge
not a Zoom
Elizabeth
meeting
Scherer Wednesday took a step-by-step approach
I think
before
this
the Parkland shooter entered his
it is
plea.
Florida.
If you're on death row waiting to be sentenced, you can't say, you know what? That wasn't a good strategy. Maybe I should have gone to trial and required the state to prove it. It will be too late at that time. Do you understand?
I understand.
The prosecutor's time at the podium telling
That kid
exactly how the
that kid
victims
killed
died
17 people.
provided a window
Yes, he did.
into what's
That's
going
wild.
to happen when a jury is
Yes, he
seated
did. And he
to
enjoyed
make a
every second of it, too.
recommendation on whether the convicted killer should be executed.
The impact of
He feels no remorse for what he did. He feels remorse for he got caught. But there are clear psychological signs during his initial interrogation when he was brought into the police station. He was happy that he did what he did.
At Marjorie Stoneman Douglas.
It is a good insight into the strength of the state's case.
Yeah,
which is
but
a strong-
even if right now he's saying that, right? What makes you think he won't feel that and he won't change in 10 years, 15 years? I'm just saying, like, the death penalty for a child, like, yeah, obviously I'm not like, he enjoyed killing 17 people. There's something wrong with that kid, you know? It's not like he's like a normal sociopathic kid that just likes to kill. It's like, oh yeah, that's normal.
I mean, I would call him a psychopath, not even sociopath. He went out with one of the deadliest mass shootings of all time. Columbine, how many people died in Columbine? And that was between 2 people.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm just saying, like, why not life in prison? Keep him in the Supermax prison, have him spend the rest of his life in prison without no.
Yeah, Columbine had 15 people die, and it was between 2 individual shooters. This guy killed 17 on his own, was at large for over an hour. He evacuated the school and blended in with the crowd to get away, ate lunch with someone whose sister he just killed, and then he got arrested.
How they found him?
When he walked out of the restaurant, because he was at large. The cops were searching everywhere for him.
Oh, so they knew it was him.
They knew it was him. Like, they knew what he was wearing. They knew who it was. They had a positive ID. They were just looking for him.
Yo, this kid is wild.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. He had no remorse. He was able to go and eat lunch afterwards.
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And everything is about, even in Oxford there, these things are all about ignoring red flags, about not getting people the help they need. And I hate, because when we say that, right, and in a high school environment, getting people the help they need, they're automatically going to be labeled as freaks, and it's going to be made worse. I firmly believe that a requirement for every like middle school in America needs to be that you need to learn and study the curriculum of a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. I cannot shill for this book enough. This book teaches you social skills. It teaches you how to make friends. It teaches you how to talk to people. And a lot of these people that go on these shooting rampages are mad because they don't have friends, or they feel socially ostracized, or they feel like they can't connect with people, so they get resentment for that. If you teach them how to make friends, they'll make friends. You're not going to want to shoot people up if you're happy with with your social environment. You know what I mean? And like, I understand, like, there's a lot more factors at play, and like, we should be paying attention to more things. But it's my firm belief that if someone sat this kid down and said, hey, it's going to get better, hurting people is not going to help anything. See, like, that person over there, that person doesn't know you. Go up to them and strike a conversation. Know how to rein it in. Know how to let your interests out gradually. And then you'll be able to get people. It's ridiculous.
Yo, this kid is a psychopath.
Oh, he is. Undoubtedly. Remorseless killer. And now he was bullied. I remember what's her face? The shaved head lady that was in the top, one of his classmates. I forget her name. Her 15 Minutes of Fame ended a while ago. Emma something. Her on the right. All the way on the right.
Oh, this bitch?
No. The one with the shaved head. All the way on the right. First row.
Oh.
Her. What's her face? Okay. I barely remember her. I remember her saying,
"No, she doesn't have a name."
She does have a name. It was everywhere when it happened. Because I remember David Hogg, only because David Hogg was like lied about where he was on Twitter, and like people still make memes about him. I believe her name was Emma something.
Let me see.
But I remember in some kind of press tour or rally she was doing, she said people say that, hey, we shouldn't have bullied him or picked on him. Well, you didn't know this kid. You didn't know the kind of person he was before he did. So like, you admitted to being part of the group of people that socially ostracized him. Not blaming her or any of those people, because shooting people is a complete adverse reaction to being picked on and bullied. I was socially ostracized in middle school. I've never shot anybody about it.
Yep.
But to like say that you're part of a perpetuatory system that's hurting people because they don't know how to form social connections and bonds, that causes a lot of the people that want to go off and hurt people. So it happened with Columbine, happened with Parkland. It's probably the thing that happened here. And like these red flags pop up and people don't want to acknowledge them.
Oh, look at them, so happy.
Emma Gonzalez, there it is. That's her name. Yeah. I knew it was Emma.
Yeah, we used to bully the kid, and now we're famous.
Yeah, he was on the low social totem pole. And that's a lot of the people that perform these shootings. You never see a jock, you never see a popular kid perform these shootings because they're happy with their environment. Why would they want to destroy it? So if you were able to teach like young kids, hey, this is how you get people to want to hang around you. This is how you make friends. This is how you do things. You'll get less of these because then people won't be ostracized for being weird when they know how to not be weird. You know what I mean? When they're taught how to not be weird. I don't know. I haven't been a kid in a while. Maybe it's different now.
It's hard, man.
It is. It's difficult, man.
Apparently, it's.
No, it is, dude.
It's hard as fuck. I mean, my heart goes out to them, man. And honestly, I feel like those kids are definitely trying to fucking capitalize on that whole thing, which is stupid as fuck. But that you know, those people just remind me of if you ever saw season 3 of You. That
I haven't watched You yet.
There was a couple there that the dude took. He kidnapped them. And then like she ended up breaking out. And then they made like this whole campaign. They were like influencers from like online. And then they made this whole thing. It was like, get out the box. And it was like how they fixed their relationship. It was so stupid. And I was just like, that's what those kids remind me of. Like they took something really sad and they try to capitalize on it. And it's just corny. Like, and if he was bullied, bro, I'm sorry. Like if he shot up his bully, like, I don't know. Like, it's, man, kids.
Dude, like, unless this guy is like, unless the school bully is like Monty De La Cruz from 13 Reasons Why, like, bullies don't deserve to be shot up. Bullies are assholes and they get their comeuppance. But you leave life to do that. You don't take it upon yourself to hurt and kill people that are mean to you. And a lot of times innocent people get caught up in the crossfire, people who you exaggerate how bad they were to you. Like that's not an acceptable response, even if someone was doing you wrong, is to go around and shoot people.
I would partly agree with you. I will tell you that it's not okay to kill anybody.
Like, do you know what I mean though by Monty from 13 Reasons Why? You ever see that show? Yeah. Like with him and the mop in the bathroom with the guy.
Yeah.
It's not going to say what he did, but you can probably connect the dots based on the information I just provided. Like that, I mean, like, I'm not saying that school shooting worthy and that actually his victim does try to shoot at the school over that, which is understandable, not right, but understandable.
I definitely feel like
this still is. There's no reason for you to shoot up a school. Like I said, the bullies get their comeuppance unless they're doing shit like that to you where you need to report that right away. But if people are like always putting you down, excluding you from social events and pulling harsh pranks, it sucks. Don't go after any physical retaliation. They will get their comeuppance. People will the life has an uncanny way of getting like biting people back in the ass for things that they've done.
I would say if you don't fit in, I'm sorry you don't fit in. That sucks. If someone
read that book,
read that book.
I'm telling you, you'll learn how to fit in.
Break their mouth and make sure that they'll never prank you again. Don't kill them.
No, we don't. We don't condone violence on the show, but I know what you're saying.
I'm just saying, like, it's like I can't condone anybody to kill anybody, but this is a big problem with, you know, like not being like if that kid was like, yo, I never fit in, and they never beat me up, but I just wanted them to be my friend, so I shot them, then I'll be like, yeah, bro, you're a fucking loser and you deserve to be in prison. But if it comes down to people fucking with you, yeah, bro, put your foot up their ass 100%. Don't kill them, but stand up for yourself. And that's what happens. Kids are not standing up for themselves.
Yeah, and then they bottle it and it builds and builds and builds, and they feel like
and then it goes into Call of Duty.
And
Call of Duty.
And they're like, you know what? Like, yeah, these fuckers have it coming. I've had too much of this. Instead of saying, hey, no, stop it, people feel the need, like they bottle it until it gets to a point where they can't bear, and then they decide to shoot everybody.
I'm telling you, when my dad was a kid, he used to always say, when kids had problems, bro, they used to literally let kids go outside and fight. And when they were done, they would come back inside, and then they'll be chill. Are you done? Are you done? All right. Like, it's like people are afraid to fight. And I remember me even growing up in the 90s. You know how many friends I had growing up because we fought and then we became friends after the fight? Like, yeah, that's my dude, man. No, we fought. And it was all right, like it was cool. I won some, I lost some. It wasn't about that. It was about how you can handle yourself. And it's not like that no more. Nobody wants to fight. Everybody's afraid of conflict.
Well, because the penalty for fighting in school is like a week suspension, goes on your permanent record, especially in high school. If people are concerned about the colleges they're trying to get into and they see like you're prone to fighting or there's like an issue or whatever, and you can't participate in sports if you fight. Like I remember one time a couple of kids got into a disagreement in the locker room before practice and they swung on each other very briefly. It was maybe 2 hits and the kids like walked away from each other and they're like, okay, I'm cool, whatever. They just had to get it out of their system. Our coach was up our ass that practice and was like, if you guys tell anybody this, if you guys report this, if anything happens, 2 of our star players can't play because there was a fight in the locker room.
Yeah,
like the punishment for fighting has been so severe to the point where I feel like that's caused maybe a little more harm than good. You also I don't condone violence, especially around children. And, people can get seriously hurt from fights, like freak accidents. Someone gets punched, hits their head on the curb just right and dies, or like someone gets punched in the face just right and they're blind in one eye. Like there's a bunch of negatives depending on which way you go here, where it's like, you don't want to say I support children fighting, do you? Like, that's not how you can like present this stance.
100%. I mean, I present people defending themselves like 100%. And does that mean kids fighting? I mean, if that's what you want to call it, I believe in defending yourself. I believe defending yourself, and no matter what it means, even if you lose the fight, is way better than you sitting there letting someone fuck you up. Defend yourself. Oh, I got fucked up. But you defended yourself, right? And now did you die? No. So now you know how it feels, and it just takes that one time. It's a big fear. It's a big fear problem, and I don't know. This is why I don't work with kids anymore. Not because I used to do an underground fight club in the schools and shit like that, for kids to to stand up against bullying. But it was, I don't know, it's just more of I was realizing that my way of thinking wasn't the way of how the schools was. It was more of, hey, let things happen and get reports. And it's more of, we have to understand that the reason why bullying is happening is all because of fear, envy, and ignorance. Those are the 3 main things of why bullies are bullies. The minute you take away 2 out of the 3 of those things, bullying is so not even a factor, and it's super easy. And then 99 or 95% of all bullies that are bullies end up becoming friends with them because they just want to be their friend, but they just feel like they're just different. It's really psychological. So why not tell them to not be afraid and stand up for yourself? And then they fight, and then we have a mediation, and then we hash it all out, and then boom. If y'all don't like each other, y'all don't like each other. But you guys fought already. So you guys now know how each other's hands work. If you guys want to do this shit more, then it's gonna get such and such. Your suspension is gonna be longer than a week. It's gonna be a month. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be that. We're gonna put you guys in prison for fighting in school grounds. We're gonna do all this. That's how it should be moved. I don't know, bro. Like the way how the school system handles bullying is so PBS. Like it's so weird. It's like,
let me throw you this hypothetical. Just like think about, so like say like we just let kids fight each other if they have an issue, you know, like they essentially ref it like a hockey fight, you know what I mean? Like make sure it doesn't go too far, but keep it, you know, just let them do it to get the anger out or whatever.
Yeah.
Say these two kids have a problem. One kid's talking mad shit, just hyping the other kid up. Other kid tries to beat up the other kid. One of them gets completely smacked, right? The kid who gets completely smacked goes home. His fucking abusive dad beats him across the face with a belt saying, how could you lose a fight like that? Kid then grabs his dad's gun, comes in the next day and shoots a kid. If that fight never happened, he wouldn't have been instigated to the point where he felt that way.
You're right. And instead, it would have that he ain't coming to Moscow with a gun if we had that implied. But either way, it would still resulted in a gun, because either way he would have been hitting, he would have been getting beat up at home, and then he would have came home. And then he would have went to school, and then he would have got beaten up at school. And then he would have took his dad's gun, and then he would have realized, I can't shoot my dad because I love my dad, but I really don't love Timmy in 4th grade. So I think Timmy has to go. So that scenario ends in a gun either way, but it doesn't take away the fact that it doesn't end in just the fight. It doesn't end like, oh, you lost. No. It's you fight, because in hockey, the men know why they're at the penalty. They're at the shit fighting because they're letting the steam out. Children don't know. They don't understand their emotions. That's why all mediations have a mediator there to control the situation. As that mediator, I will be the person that will be there. Will be after the fight. Y'all sit down. All right, your emotions are gone, and now we're gonna talk. Oh, I feel like this. I feel like that. Oh, I feel like this. I feel like that. Oh, shut up. And then if the kid that says shut up is the kid that lost the fight, I'm gonna tell him, yo, bro, you already lost. You don't want to lose again. It's not gonna help you. Your record isn't gonna get miraculously stronger. You're not a super saint. And then like it's way more than just the bare bones of just letting them fight. It's about just like if we're sitting in if we're telling our kids to stand up and be there in life after the 12 years of or 13 or 14 years of school that you're being told to, but in a school system we're getting beaten and bullied and oppressed, and all we're being told to do is to tell our adults, and our adults don't do anything. That leaves us with the same mindset as the same moms that are still living off of welfare or SNAP or government funding, and they're going, oh, but I need this. Oh, but I need this. Oh, but I need this. But you don't want to go up and get what you need to get, but you want the government to give it to you. We're just harboring those lazy functions, and I just don't believe in that. I have no problem with that. Like if my son comes home and goes, yo, I'm being bullied, I'm going to teach him how to fight. And I'm be like, bro, I'm not going to be mad. Like, yo, bro, you shouldn't be getting fucked up. I'm going to understand. Like, bro, are you afraid? I feel you. Now you're going to know how to fight. And when he beats you up, you beat his ass. And when your teacher calls me, I got you.
See, a lot of the bullying nowadays, though, and especially in like my experience, just from being like, so I was a weirdo growing up. You know what I mean? Like looking back on it, yeah, I was picked on and bullied and ostracized. And the more I look back on it, the more I'm like, I mean, yeah, I would have freaking bullied me in middle school if I like look at myself. Like I was a freaking weirdo, right? But a lot of the stuff that I faced wasn't so much physical. No one ever laid a hand on me. It was done through like verbal expression and through like shunning, essentially. So like teaching someone how to fight, teaching me how to fight wasn't going to help me out, because like if I walk up to people and I'm like, hey guys, like you want to like I don't know, do this math worksheet together in a group, and people scoff and laugh at me and tell me to go away, loser? Am I just gonna start swinging?
No.
You know what I mean?
That's why my first part of the thing was, if you can't fit into school, that sucks. I feel you, and we'll have a conversation about that. But if someone puts a prank on you, you beat their ass. Now, that type of outcasting, that's a totally different thing. You feeling something about that, that's not their fault. They don't have to hang out with you. That's an insecurity. That's you not feeling like you're being seen or valued or appreciated or acknowledged or whatever it is. And then we can have that conversation, and then you can find your inner self. Be like, I bet I don't need you. And then you won't be the weirdo that goes, hey guys, you want to do this math experiment with me? You'll be sitting alone, and then you'll learn to have self-confidence. Like, there's so many avenues in the child's mind that you can go through. That the bullying was just one thing. Like, to me, that's not bullying. That's more of you being an outcast. You're getting outcasted. They're not bullying you. They're not, they don't go, yo, don't fucking talk to that nigga, because that nigga's fucking, he got really curly hair. Because then if he does that, then you tell that nigga, like, yo, bro, see me outside, bro. Like, but if it's just like, yo, I don't like you, bro, you kind of creep me out. Like, fam, what do you want them to do? Like, it's like you kind of creep them out.
Well, so as someone who used to live in the head of someone who was part of that, where like the person who is socially ostracized builds this resentment, essentially, 100%. Where anyone knew, because especially coming from a small town, like small town places, when you go from one place to another, your reputation follows you. People will go up to other people that you're trying to get to know, and they'll say shit to them like, hey, this guy's a weirdo, don't talk to him, whatever. And like they'll trade like essentially like info stock about who you are. I loved going to college, because when I went to college, 2 people from my high school were in my grade, my year, and I never saw them ever. So I got like a brand new fresh start where my reputation didn't follow me. And that's where I learned to cultivate my public speaking skills, my social skills, which is, I love using those skills so much because I didn't have them growing up. I'm doing a radio show online. Like, this is my passion. I love learning to talk and to influence and do my thing, because growing up, I didn't know how to do that. And when you grow up and you don't know how to do that, and you have this feeling of just, I'm not accepted by everything, it can go into some pretty dark places depending on the person's head that it's in. And you build this resentment and this eventual anger toward people, because it's like, screw them. Why don't they like me? What's wrong with me? And you build this whole complex of, I'm misunderstood so much that people don't give me a chance and I'm cool, even though kids can't look at themselves objectively. They just don't have the brain power to do that. If I could do that, I wouldn't have been such a weirdo growing up. Like, I can do that now as an adult, and that's how I'm able to say, oh yeah, I was a weirdo. Like, a lot of the things that happened to me of people ostracizing me were warranted.
A child's mind is so
yeah, but like when you're as a child and you're growing up, you don't see that. So you eventually build it up to a point where you're like, I want to hurt them because screw them. They don't let me have any fun in class. I can't be myself. I can't make friends because of them. You build this resentment toward the social machine, and then you decide, hey, like, and then it builds and festers to a point where you get kids like at Columbine, like at Oxford, like at Parkland, where it wasn't so much physical abuse or physical bullying. It was that ostracization and that separation from like the main society of school that causes you to just lose yourself. I always used to say growing up, and like this kind of has an ounce of truth to it, where like if you have to kind of be rich in the ways of social interaction to ever try to get rich in the ways of social interaction. Where if you're not good at socializing with people, you're never going to be good socializing with people, because the way you learn to socialize with people is you got to practice. You got to talk to people. And if you're already a weirdo, no one's going to talk to you. You're not going to be able to grow out of that phase.
This is a very great example of why the school system that we have today is so poorly designed. And you see, everything that you said is correct. You're right. Mm-hmm. You know, me growing up, I felt that same way. But at the same time, it didn't take me until college to see what you got, like I was blessed, to have my own sages, come to me and go, hey, it shouldn't be like this, or fuck this, or fuck that, or, like that's where literally becoming a misfit came from, like my church took it and made it a way bigger Christian thing, but like the word misfit to me was I always felt that I was a misfit. Always. I was always against the grain. It was always weird. I was always that kid. I used to never ask nobody to do a math assignment. After one time they laughed, I was like, yo, y'all can all die. I swear to God, I wish God kills all of you. Like, and I was chilling. And then like I got to learn, like, yo, be to yourself, learn, get, like it got me thinking, like, just I don't know, like I see my life as an anime. So as an anime, I couldn't, my anime is not about making friends. My anime is doing this and doing that. And then once you go along your journey, you're gonna find people that's gonna connect, and then you're gonna find friends. And then I just did that, and then I became mad cool. I became this funny, crazy ass person that I was. And then I remember, it was from elementary school to middle school, I was bullied and outcasted. Towards the end of middle school to high school, getting into college, I was bloomed. I guess those are like my peak years as a child, because everybody loved me. I could sit around anybody, and I didn't even know. I was just doing my own thing. It didn't hit me until I graduated high school, and everybody took a picture with me, and I was like, oh my God, y'all fuck with me? That's crazy, because I didn't want to take a picture with none of them. I didn't fuck with none of those people. I was like, I don't care. Like, who are you people? Like, every picture I took, they're like, do you want to take a picture? I was like, nah, I'm good. Later, bro. I'll see you never. And then I'll leave. Like, it was just, like, and then I learned that. And then into schooling, when I started working in the schools, I realized that we don't teach those things to kids. We don't teach social cues. We don't teach philosophy. We don't teach these core things that, because honestly, back in the old days, you used to learn that at home, like how I learned it at home. I was just blessed to have a sage of an older brother that was wise enough to go, hey, I'm going to teach this shit to you, because nobody fucking taught it to me. And, but it's the school's, I feel like it's the school's job now that we should be teaching these kids, like, hey, it's okay to function. Like, like the school community teaches the kids in a very, let the kids handle their own kids' economic world, and we do our own thing. And it shouldn't be like that, bro. Like, there should be a form of counsel. There should be a form of checks and balances that we establish. We are the gods in that realm. In the school realm, we are the ones that bend the will and do everything. So we should be the ones that create the order. But I don't know. And I feel like, honestly, that's where the school system failed, bro. And it shouldn't, and that's a bigger conversation, because honestly, right? What if that kid learned how to be accepted and cherished and loved and all these things,
or how to accept himself, or how to like be okay with being ostracized, because these people are obviously not worth my time. Because a big thing with children is children blame themselves more times than not for things that are outside of their control. Like growing up, I was always like, it's my fault no one likes me, which in a lot of points it was. But as I got older, the more I realized a lot of people I went to school with in like middle school and high school were assholes.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people I knew were dicks. Like, I have this amazing friend group from high school. I have like 2 friends from elementary school I still keep in contact with. One of which I work with right now. And like, I've known him since we were like 6. And we like are still best friends. We still talk all the time. We still do things together. And and I know these people. I have my core group of friends, and it took me until I went to college and learned social cues. And like you said, social cues and like social like navigation should be taught, especially with how we see rising numbers in autism and ADHD, which are mental disabilities that cause people, like a main symptom is not understanding social cues. Or like being weird socially. Like when we have more and more people coming out like that, you're kind of screwing over those kids, because they don't know how to be cool, or how to like just say, hey, maybe they're not going to want to learn about like the newest Green Lantern issue. Like I was in middle school, I had to run around until I opened my conversations. So it takes like learning and practice, and we don't give those kids that, and then they get socially ostracized, and then they blame themselves. They say it's all on me. Now, a lot of it was on me, and I do admit that. Well, like I said, there are people where if they came up to me at like the 10-year high school reunion and said like, oh man, we should hang out sometime, I would say, no, no, thank you. I don't want to get to know you. I don't like you. Like you're a shitty person. I've known you since I was like 13, and I didn't like you then, and I don't think I'd like you now. Like, so it's one of those things where like the whole "it gets better" thing, I know that sounds like a broken record to a lot of kids, but it really does. Because then you you grow with that introspection, and you figure out how to be yourself, and like you can look at yourself objectively, and like it like to anyone watching who is in that age demographic. I don't have access to our demographics yet, but if I know I get a lot of people who are like overseas, or anybody in high school who's listening, anyone who's like, you know, life really sucks right now because you're in the school program, no matter where you are, and you know, your social life's not great. It does get better. One, like the older you get, the more experience you get, you learn how to cultivate friendships, how to win friends and influence people. I will never stop shilling that book. When my kids, like the summer my kids go from 5th grade into 6th grade into middle school, we are doing a summer reading program with that, like an at-home summer reading program. Like I am straight up like, listen, you're reading this with dad, and you are going to learn this, so that way they can go into the more social aspect of their lives with like an arsenal of how to interact with people.
You know, one of the biggest things why I started the Sage Way was because of that same exact reason. Like coming into life, I was like naked in a blizzard, you know, like, and then I had a diploma. Naked in a blizzard, and I had a diploma, and I thought I was okay.
That sounds like a fire intro to a rap song, bro.
Yeah.
Naked in a blizzard, I got my diploma.
I really thought I was okay, like, because the school told me as long as you have your diploma, you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I used to say everything. I used to go to jobs. They'd be like, "Hey, you have experience?" No, but I have my high school diploma. I remember one job, a car dealership. I was like, "Hey, I want to sell cars." He was like, "Hey, do you have your something certificate?" I was like, "No, but I have my diploma." And then he laughed. He said, "Oh, you have your diploma?" He goes, "Great, get out." And he sent me out. Embarrassing moment in my entire life. And then that's when I started the Sage Way. Started to learn how to get right, how to do these things, and then to teach it to other people that will feel outcasted and they don't know how to navigate. So hopefully one day, you know, there's not as many Parkland shooters or Combine shooters, you know, that end up losing their lives because they want to air out a fucking classroom.
Yeah, and like with bullying being an issue, I feel like the way that it's trying to be resolved is the incorrect way of doing it. Where a lot of the people who are like, we're going to fight bullying, we're against bullying, like anti-bullying strike team or task force, they focus more on the bullies themselves instead of the bullied. And I think that's what's causing like a lot of like this social like weakness, essentially, because people are usually bullied because they're doing something wrong outside of the natural flow of like society in that area. Now that's usually like, you know, that's usually, I'm not saying that's entirely like a good thing. I'm not saying that's entirely a bad thing. I'm saying that like I'm walking around talking about DC Comics and video games, and then I'm all like bent out of shape that no one wants to talk to me because that's all I talked about. Instead of the bully, whenever I'd say like, hey, like I feel ostracized, I feel bullied, I don't like the situation I'm in, they would always go after the kids that would talk shit to me, instead of coming up to me and saying, hey, why are they talking shit to you? And then instead of grooming someone to then say like, listen, keep those interests more close to your chest and try to relate to them. If someone came up to me and said, hey, listen, nobody cares about DC Comics other than you. Now, DC Comics are cool, but if you want to start a basic conversation, no one's going to know about DC Comics. Why don't you talk about a common interest? If someone gave me that piece of advice, I wouldn't have been nearly as bent out of shape going into high school.
Bro, you thought that was
like
bad,
that
bro?
one line.
I used to come in a Naruto getup with the headband.
Yo, let's go.
And I
did the run and everything.
Bro, I was doing the run before these little Area 51 kids made it cool. Like, I was like, that's crazy. Like,
dude, that's hype.
And I was always bullied because of that shit. I remember somebody told me, they were like, yo, why don't you talk about things that they want to talk about? I literally turned to them like my little Naruto whack ass. And I was like, I want to talk about Naruto all the time because I want to be Naruto. Naruto's going to be great. You got to believe it. Believe it. And I remember, a kid heard that. He got up. He goes, yeah, this is why we fuck you up, bro. This is why we fuck you up, bro. And I just had to take it. And then they understood, like, yo, Eli's the anime guy. And then
like if you were to like, say, hey, like I go to your guidance and say, hey, I feel like I'm being bullied. I feel like I'm ostracized and like this climate isn't good. They wouldn't go up to you and say like, hey, maybe you should tone it down so that way they don't come after you as much. Maybe if you like, you don't have to fully assimilate, but just blend into where you're like somewhat reachable. Instead of doing that, they go right after the other people. And then it makes this even bigger rift. And then you get people who, and then you get like school shootings of people who are just so fed up because like that whole anti-bullying system doesn't work.
Yeah.
But when you like actually learn how to handle the social environment, then you get that. Like people tell me all the time, like, cause I public speak, I do this radio show. I've always been the best at presentations. I always like to talk to people. I have a way with people now. Like people say like, oh, you just, I wish I had a friend tell me, man, I wish I had like charisma like you did. Like, I wish I was born that way. I'm like, dude, it's not something I was born with, bro. You were there when I didn't have it. You learn how to do this.
Yeah.
It's something that is cultivated. It's something that you got to like figure out, and you can figure it out. You're not doomed to it from the start, man.
And it's like people have to understand too, like the biggest kept secret about it is like it will always and forever be humiliating.
Oh, it will, but like that's got to drive you forward to keep doing shit that doesn't humiliate you. That's the whole point of humiliation, man. That's the whole point.
Always feel like that. Like never think like, oh man, this humiliation is gonna go away. Nah, just accept it. Like it's not bad humiliation. Like it's kind of like
don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of memes of people like, oh, me at 3 a.m. like crying about something I did like 5 years ago. I used to do that. So like, I'm not like making fun of you for that, but just don't do that. When you get that like intrusive thought of like, oh, that cringy thing I did like 4 or 5 years ago, just say like, hey, I accept it. I learned from it. If you didn't feel as cringe about it, that means you didn't grow up. And if you are feeling such cringe over something you did a few years ago, to the point where it's keeping you up at night, that means you've grown so much that you realize what you're doing wrong and you are improving yourself to that point where you're like, you can now be a fully functioning person.
And you just got to drop it.
Commend yourself for that. Keep your head up and keep going and learn how to not be like you were a couple years ago. And then you'll be fine.
Like, like you got to take L's in life. You know? And that was an L.
Yeah. And nobody's going to come up to you and be like, yo, remember that thing you did a couple years ago? No one's going to. And if they do, they're an asshole. And you could probably like, you could call them out on being an asshole and you'd probably get support.
I'll laugh about it too. I would
dude, you'll laugh about it. And then if they want to keep being a dick about it, you can be like, bro, why are you being a dick? That was years ago. Get over it.
I'll be like, I'll be like, yo, what are you doing with your life? And I wouldn't even say nothing because he's probably not even doing nothing. Like kids like that, like, they're probably not even amounted to nothing. They stay in the past. And it's like, man, that must have been the happiest day of your life.
Yeah, the happiest day is when you messed up, then you're doing just fine. Don't worry about the opinion of that guy.
That's fine, bro. You just keep on living and all that. Look at
absolutely
us, inspirational at the last minute.
That's right. Yeah, we when I first did like that title sequence, I thought, oh crap, I didn't mention the shooting over in Oxford. I hope we can like draw that out and talk about that a little bit. And like, that's what the zoo does, bro. That's how we bring it out. Last week I didn't have a guest on. I monologued for like an hour. And like, I ran the numbers in my head and I thought like, if I had a guest, it would be 2 hours of talking. But like, since we bounce off, it's like exponential,
Bro, it's all the time, bro. I just gotta get a webcam. I just miss a webcam.
Yeah.
Like, so you can see my setup. Like, it's so beautiful. I gotta send you.
I saw it on your story, dude. I saw you.
Bro,
I saw you posting some stuff earlier. That was cool.
Shout out to SkyTech, man. Once again, SkyTech Gaming. I found out. I guess that's my faction, so I have to support them.
There you go.
Shout out to them. They're pretty great. But yeah, man, I just gotta get a webcam. That's my last piece.
There you go.
I forgot to get.
Hey, Christmas is coming up, bro. If you were good, Santa will bring you one.
Oh yeah, thanks. Come on, Santa. Come on. I know you don't go to Puerto Rico no more, but it's like
Sage Elias, thank you for coming on the show again. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Do you have any last minute comments? Any last things you want to say before we go off the air tonight?
Nothing at all, except for follow the Sageway podcast, and thanks for the VOP for having me on. And shout out to Dan.
Sweet, that's right. Shout out to Dan. Shout out to the VOP USA Radio Network. Last minute things. Thanks for coming on by the show tonight, everyone who's listening. Make sure you follow the Political Zoo over on Twitter and Twitch. And I'm drawing a blank on the name, Instagram, even though I just said it. Make sure you follow our social media accounts over on those places over here. Check out our YouTube page over at Political Zoo, where I'll be uploading clips of the show and some highlights. If you want to support the show, we do have an active Patreon for the Political Zoo. If you pledge $1 or more every month, you get access to the exclusive Political Zoo Discord, where you can talk to me over on there. You can hang out with other fans of the Political Zoo. You're not going to want to miss out on some fun times over in the Discord. Big shout out to Sage for coming on the show again. And make sure you do your research. Make sure you always think for yourself. Make sure you always keep coming back to the Political Zoo. I've been Drew. I'm your host. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for coming by.